welcome everybody. I'm surprised there's so many people in our stream tonight, so that's really awesome. Thanks everybody for coming. And welcome to our very first episode of SweetRoll. This is a campaign that we've been playing for several months. Some of us new, some old, but all together we are very fresh to D&D in general. We have, I don't know if you've played something other than Lost Mines of Phandelver, but...
Yes, I played an earlier edition when I was in high school.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So a couple of us have a little more experience than others, but as I said, we're all pretty fresh. I myself have only DM'd one campaign before this, and that was this one, and it was Lost Mines of Phandelver. And then I've done a couple one-shots. So going into this campaign, we'll be playing D&D 5e, but that said, I definitely don't know all the rules, and we're going to break them, and we're going to forget about them, and we're going to contradict ourselves. But our goal is just to have fun. This is a home game that we've been playing for a while, and we just wanted to stream it since we were going to be playing anyways, and then for people that watch and enjoy it, we're happy to bring you guys along. So with that said, we'll jump into introducing ourselves. So these are all of my lovely PCs that will be playing in this campaign, so you guys can go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Start with you.
Oh, we started with you last time, I guess. So I guess that's right. Hello, my name is Drew, and I'll be playing the my character, Peskin Offenstalagier. I guess I'll give a little bit of context as to who he is. He's rugged, very stoic. That's like the one word I would describe. Very stoic. Doesn't show emotions very easily. Doesn't trust people very well. He was a slave in his past life, so he's very, very, suspicious of a lot of different people. But when he makes an ally, he values them greatly, and he respects people who show any, who show any dedication to a craft, whatever it may be, whether it be spell casting or music for a bard or anything. So he's all about mastery, self-control, and bettering himself as a fighter, because he's a fighter.
He's also a lizard.
He is. He's a dragonborn. Did I fail to mention that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Off to a great start.
I think you got it. I think you said it.
That was dragonborn.
He's scaly.
My name is Charles. I'll be playing Julius Confert. He is a human mage from the town of Goldenfield. When he was a kid, he would watch the wizards who were traveling through provide some magical labor in the fields in exchange for room and board, and eventually one of them took him to the Neverwinter Academy, where he flourished as an academic, and now he has decided to take his learning into the field with adventuring.
My name is Dylan, and I'm playing the character Velkynvelve, who is a half-elf rogue, who is a criminal and a thief. He steals either ancient or religious artifacts, just anything of worth, really, to sell. He's a practical guy. He mostly just cares about getting done what he's doing, basically, and making a little money, blowing it on drinks and food, and he's a bit of a hedonist, if you will. Kind of an asshole. He's a loner, but not because he's stoic or anything, but just because he's not super great at keeping friends, and hasn't really made many before. So
that's about to change.
Cool. So I'm Dylan as well, and my character is Erevan Nightbreeze, a wood elf beastmaster who, whenever is motivated by an event that occurred whenever he was young, where in his hometown was overrun by an undead horde, and they ended up actually killing his family and taking his sister away. And the only thing that was remaining was an amulet that he then took and used it to try to ultimately find his sister. So nowadays, still searching, but he has a lot of fun throwing out bear traps to try to kill bugbears. And that's it.
Hey, yeah, I'm Lacey, and I'll be playing Eliwick Marydale. She is a gnome cleric. She is from Nomingham Forest, and her drive is that her religious relic was stolen from her family's temple, and she is looking to find the people who took it, or the creatures. And basically, she's sassy. She started out being pretty much a pacifist and not really wanting to hurt anyone, but now she will at least inflict damage. So there's some,
At least shove a bugbear
momentum.
down a flight of stairs. And
Yeah.
She won't kill.
Whoa.
Yeah, no
Big
critical
necrotic
hits.
force. Just
Yeah, no
Yeah.
critical hits, but she'll still do some damage.
She's really tough.
She really values, friendship and life, and she really values the teachings of Dianset, her god. And so,
What's the god's name?
Dianset,
Okay.
yeah. And so she looks to him to her power, and she kind of embraces his words and his teachings, which kind of guide her actions. So that's how they work.
Oh, that was great. I am Bree, and I play Elwyn Fandron, and he is a half-elf bard, but he is not just any elf, he is half drow. And drow is this species of dark elf, which is actually, in the campaign we're about to go into, they occupy the underdark, and they are kind of some bad dudes. They're some baddies. But his dad kind of left that lifestyle and found his mom, who was a human, and she was a slave and broke her out, and so they moved to the town of Waterdeep, where I grew up, and we kind of lived kind of small. When I was like a teenager, Elwyn got taken by some more drow and was in slavery for a couple years, and then after that it inspired him to continue his bardship, because his mom was a bard as well. So there's more to that, but it's complicated, so I won't go into it. But yeah, he's just a bard doing his thing, and he found this group of people, and he's learned his ways on the streets, but he's good. He's a really happy-go-lucky guy, very flirty, but he's cool. I really like him, so hope you guys do too.
All right. So those are our characters, at least for now. We'll see how many
For now.
make it to the end of this campaign.
Why would you say that?
Oh.
Oh my god.
oh, miss.
He's just gonna kill us all off.
Who knows?
You all immediately die. That's the show. Thanks for watching.
Don't worry about everybody.
That's all, folks.
Okay. So we will dive into our first campaign.
I'm sorry.
Hello. Sorry, I can't hear my music, and I kind of need it.
My music.
Get
Yeah.
in the
My music. We need to set the mood.
Sponsored.
Hopefully that doesn't get picked up by the mic, and now everything is screwed up.
Drop the mic.
If there's one thing you can count on this stream to provide, it's quality
No, it's fine.
production and flawless gameplay.
We have
An Oscar-worthy
awesome-
performance.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
Let's not set the bar
I've
Absolutely.
been
We
practicing
are
the
actually
lines
I don't watch
here.
Meryl
in a
Streep
castle
movies.
right now.
Yeah,
Getting ready for it.
As you can
It
see,
is- yeah, I
Gregor
actually
and
thought
Matthew McConaughey.
we hand
All right,
built
those
this
two.
castle.
Let's keep on track.
I think I'll hit you.
All right.
Alright.
I hope I can hear. Okay. Centuries ago, an agreement was made known as Phandelver's Pact. By this agreement, clans of dwarves and gnomes agreed to live in harmony with one another, sharing in the great mineral wealth provided by Wave Echo Cave. But some would have you believe that there was more to offer than paltry riches. Human spellcasters allied themselves with the dwarves and gnomes to harness a great source of energy into what would be known as the Forge of Spells. During this time, the nearby town of Phandelver prospered. That is, until a powerful force of orcs led by mercenaries laid siege to the cave and those who stood to protect it. Few were spared death in battle, and those who remained lost their lives as the cave came crumbling down upon them, bearing with them whatever knowledge there was as to its location, and the great magic within it. When we last saw our adventurers, they had found their way to this long-lost cave on rumors about the discovery of the Forge of Spells. But their good Unfortunately, it did not last long. A drow, known as the Black Spider, unfazed by his death at the hands of the party, assured them that they were already too late. Several more drow, emerging from the shadows, took captive the party, save for the wizard Julius Penford, who escaped to the Mages College, believing his friends to be dead. Unfortunately, they were met with a fate some would say is worse than death. Captives of the drow. How long has it been? Days? Weeks? Months? You do not know. All you remember is the steady drip of poison that kept you sedated, starved, stomach churning. Whatever scraps of food you were offered to eat, you struggled to keep down. Now, as your awareness slowly begins to return, you feel the cold and heavy weight of steel around your necks, around your wrists. Strung along in chains, every step you take brings you deeper into the abyss. Eventually, you step forward onto a small wooden platform carried by thin cords of spider silk. It begins to elevate. Large stalactites hang from the ceilings, and eventually, thick cobwebs begin to obscure your view of the dark cavern below. The platform slowly comes to a halt. Before you, a small settlement perched on a ledge against the cavern wall, hidden amongst the spiders. As you step forward, you see two large, almost bear-like humanoid figures covered in shaggy white hair operating the lift. You see rooms carved into the cavern walls, resting quarters of some kind. And in another, you see drow warriors gathered together, eating. You're forced forward. Keep moving! The stalactites appear to have been hollowed out as well. As you continue forward, a large waterfall spews forth from the cavern wall, interrupting your path. Instead, you cross a separate rope bridge leading into one of the stalactites. Here you notice an opening in the floor and in the ceiling, rope ladders leading to them. More drow, station guard. You exit, following another bridge back to the ledge. In front of you, the slave pens. A cell with an iron gate. One of the drow who's escorting you steps forward. Allow me to demonstrate the rules around here. You see him begin to unshackle a small green goblinoid figure that is accompanying your party. He picks him up by the nape of the neck and, with very little hesitation, tosses him over the wall of the cavern ledge. Immediately, you see a very large shadow of a spider just skitter across the ceiling. Do you understand? Welcome to Velkynvelve. The guards then push you into the cell, shutting this iron gate behind you. And as you step forward, you now find yourselves in a dark cave, in an underground outpost, far from the light of the sun, far from the light of Dianse. But you are not alone. In this otherwise empty cell, you see the broken faces of your fellow prisoners. What would you like to do?
I can't believe they killed Drew.
I can't say anything, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. My head hurts really bad.
Welcome to Velkynvelve.
Am I?
You are currently, you just watched as a group of, they're surface dwellers. Compared to the things you've seen in the Underdark, they don't look too strange, but you watch them arrive, you watch these guards, without saying too much, just chuck this very bottom shelf looking goblin over this cavern ledge and get shoved into this cell.
Is there...
Sorry. sorry. Oh my
Whoa.
gosh.
The headache continues.
The
Let me-
head-
let me find the
I
mood.
feel bad ever saying I didn't like Drew. That's my character as Dylan. I love him.
This is your fault. You're the karmic imbalance that you presented.
I'm not saying.
as
I'm just,
the
You
result
see
of the
him
death
fall
of
over the edge
Drew.
and you laugh.
Production value.
Heskin says, "Where's Julius?
Is he not here with us?
He's not here with us."
Oh God. You don't think that they killed him too, did they? Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm inclined to think that.
Is everybody else here?
You take note and see them. With the exception of Julius and Droop, your party is with you. Currently, you guys have you are shackled. There is a shackle around your throat and wrist, and it connects at like a belt at your waist, making it sort of difficult to actually move your arms in any significant way.
Do we
Are we
notice?
in the pin now?
Yeah, you are currently in a dark cell. It's effectively a portion of this cavern wall that's been carved out and hollowed into this room. There are a number of other prisoners in here, and there is a small pot for. You can imagine whatever you would do with a pot in a jail cell, but that's about it.
Right. Do we notice the strange fellow we've never seen before?
You see a lot of strange fellows in
We see a
this
lot of
cell
strange
with you. Yeah. So,
Wow,
in
we
addition
can have
to
strange fellows.
you see
Is that the first thing you do when you go to prison?
a number
Yes.
Oh, strange fellows.
a number of underdark creatures of various kinds. They definitely are like a motley crew of different races and things like that. You see a couple of gnomish figures, maybe with a bit of a darker complexion than what you would expect to see. On the surface, you see a dwarf woman. You see this, so the same bearish white figures that were operating the lift, there is one of those in the jail cell with you who is also monocled and chained up as well. There is an orc. There's a fish-like creature that is in there, so it's a pretty eclectic bunch that has found their way into this prison
Wow.
cell. Yeah.
That was a lot stranger than I thought it would be.
Sorry, how many of them actually responded to like Droop getting thrown
The
off?
scene?
The scene happening.
Make a perception check. The first roll of the game.
If
And it's
I think.
it's
What
a
is it?
5.
Yeah.
I could say what my character did though,
Yeah.
because
you can.
that's yeah.
But
that's,
as to whether he saw you,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
so you didn't really gain much of the reaction from the prisoners.
After I start to look around, I just
Yeah.
start looking at the
You
ground.
were sort of
and just
fixated on Droop just being thrown over before you
Into a
really had a
spider
chance to catch what people were doing. But
I rolled a.
if,
Oh, sorry.
were you also wanting to?
Yeah,
Sure.
I figured.
Sure.
I rolled a 17 plus 3.
Okay. So
That's
I'll let
fine.
you
Okay.
explain.
Well, I think he would look at it pretty. I mean, passively watch it, probably with a hint of anger, but not really.
Yeah.
Anything else. To
I think that is
Elvis
probably
noticed.
probably seen it several times already.
right. That's sort of the mix of reactions that you might have caught. Like maybe after he was thrown over and you kind of turn back to the pen, you see a couple people within the pen that are kind of just like, yeah, of course, and some of them not even really paying attention, just like this is our life now.
Oh my gosh.
Heskin approaches a person he does not know to be Deckett, and he approaches him and he says, "How long have you been here?"
I can't tell days in here. It's dark all the time, and nobody tells us. I don't know. I've been marking on the wall, but honestly, it's just every time I take a piss. So that could be a few hours. I don't know. Days, maybe months, weeks.
What do they do with you?
Well, you'll have to ask one of them the rules. I don't want to have to go over all of them with you. Everybody who comes in acts like they're the first person to ever be thrown in prison and the first person to have a friend die. But it's pretty much happened to everybody in here, so...
You're not special.
My point is, why keep us all captive? You must have some use for us, rather than just killing us.
Now, that's a question that I definitely cannot answer. I really haven't been here long since I got caught, so how much I know about these drow is pretty limited.
If you want, you can roll an intelligence check.
Okay, I'll definitely do that. Oh, that's a 17.
Oh, nice.
So it's 19.
So in the time that you've been here, you haven't. I mean, nobody's giving you direct information, obviously, but you've heard just sitting in this cell, some of the drow guards that are here talking about slave traders and perhaps even like expressing some frustration that whoever is something is late at this point. Something should have happened, but they're anticipating somebody to come pick up the slaves.
Gotcha. And can I say that to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
So
just
you're
waiting
now
for someone
aware
to
that
come
yeah,
pick up the slaves.
you're probably in a holding cell, potentially for slave traders or something like that. You are now a marketable item
Commodity,
for this drow in
yes.
some way. Yeah.
Do I see any bears?
You see Izzy with you in the
Oh.
tent
In
as
the
well.
holding-
Oh, they couldn't throw her off.
So he mentioned that they might be late. The buyers might be late.
There's some issue that was causing the drow to be upset that revolved around the conversation of the slaves and what needed to be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
I go to use the bathroom, and I'm gonna go take a piss at that little bucket in the corner.
Yeah, I mean it's
I have broken eyes.
roll a
I'm not gonna
Roll
roll.
over.
roll a Constitution saving throw.
Boy.
That's,
Man,
that's
every time you pee, you gotta roll a nose.
Yeah.
I rolled a natural one.
Oh,
It's your first time. I mean, you're half drow. You're not totally unfamiliar with the way that drows are, but you haven't really been subjected to the brunt of their living conditions here. So, yeah, you go to use the bathroom, you're successful, but you struggle a little bit, and eventually you're just like puking in the corner. That on top of you just watch your goblin friend get thrown over a wall, and your stomach is just not with you right
I
now.
just had to pee.
Do I see any captors nearby outside the cell, kind of keeping watch, like pacing back and forth or anything? No. Like, can I? Is it possible to see it first off, or are they just not there?
Roll a perception check.
Cool. That's my favorite thing to roll. Just so you know.
Roll to see if your eyes are open and looking out.
No,
the
just
cell.
so you know, my dice here whenever the DM says make a perception check, and you're just kind of like, we're gonna screw this guy over. So it's
Pretty
always bad.
He never gets over an 8.
All right, 12.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's double digits.
It's a little dark, it's a little difficult to see, but you can. I mean, nobody's watching you, but occasionally somebody will walk past.
Okay. Do I notice what kind of weaponry they may have on them, or attire, or both?
They have similar to the garb that you saw at Wave Echo Cave. I mean, they just have this dark, maybe leather-looking armor, sort of black in color, and then they have swords hanging down and whips and other. I mean, they have all kinds of various tools at their disposal to be handling the prisoners, so they're not in like casual wear.
Right.
I think Deck would see you doing this and be like, so, I'm guessing you guys want to get out of here.
I'm not staying here.
Yeah, I feel similar. So, a lot of the people around here are pretty useless. So are any of you guys useful?
I come
Yes.
back from like throwing
You
up in
get
the corner.
Heskin smirks a little in a very cocky manner, and he says, "If you can swipe a sword off of one of those guards, I can show you how useful I am."
I like the sound of that.
Hey, friends. I also like the sound of that. I'm happy to go in on this with you. I'll bet you 10 gold pieces. Once you have them, I know you're broke. But 10 gold pieces to the first person to swipe one of those swords.
10?
10?
10
Do
gold.
you just have gold? Do you have like a drink? Do you have whiskey or anything?
Yeah.
Just gold?
I have what everybody else has.
Okay, I
So
can't
maybe
spend
a
it in
little
here
extra
right
gold
now.
on me than some.
But assuming I get out here, I'll take it.
Okay. I'm okay with stealing something.
All right.
Alright.
I'm
Now-
Jinja.
Now, what are we? Okay. Also, we were in a cage.
Ginger.
So if you
Ginger.
have a
Okay.
sword, what would you do with it in this cage?
I mean, just slice open the cage. It's a sword, right?
Slice open the cage. That's
Slice
right. That's how it
open-
works.
Okay, so I kind of like shake out of my like daze that I'm in and like feel around for my amulet to see if it's there.
You've got loincloths on. I mean, you're just
Okay.
stripped down to nothing.
Well, despite that, I still say like a prayer for at least Drew and also Julius as well.
Do I have
As you're saying this, you can. There's an intensity to it, but not in a good way. You can feel that you are very isolated here, and it seems as if what you're saying is just hitting these walls and coming right back.
Oh, this lost moment.
And that's how some of us feel all the time.
Oh.
That's what that would say.
How do I need to make a how's the lock? What kind of a lock is it? I mean,
It's iron gates. It's
A locked
not.
one.
It's not particularly amazing in its craft, but it's just like a simple lock on a door.
right.
Hey, Deck. How often do they actually come in to bring people in or out?
There is no pattern. Sometimes you guys are fed. Sometimes it seems as if you're just ignored for days.
Yeah, I think they like to keep us on our feet. They don't want us to understand any sort of pattern.
Well, the worst case, we can hang out around the doors so that we can overpower them if they do come in.
What about those big white bear-looking fellas? Are they part of the,
They were in chains as well.
are they in chains with us, or?
There is one that is in chains, but there were several when you arrived that were operating the lift. And from your few days here, you would know that there are. They seem to be just like extra muscle for the drow, kind of British things.
And I wouldn't have any idea like where our stuff is or my stuff.
Roll a.
Because I got a bag of thieves' tools
I need to.
that has everything that we would.
Roll a perception check.
All right. Ooh, that's 18. That's gonna be the 20 then.
You're aware that in some of these, so effectively where you guys are at is high up in this cavern. There is a ledge. There are rooms carved into the wall itself, but there are these giant stalactites that hang down, and they have been hollowed out and formed into various rooms and things, basically like hanging towers. And you're aware from just as you've been taken out of this cell pen to do various shit for the drow. You know that some of these towers house the barracks for the guards. You're not sure whether your equipment is in there necessarily, but you know that at least that's where the bulk of the male drow are stationed.
Gotcha. I would tell you.
Volunteer
all
the
that.
information.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't. Yeah. I mean, how much worse can my situation get?
I feel you there, bud.
Heskin addresses the person who was making the bet, and he says,
Ginger.
Jinja.
Jimja.
Jinja.
Jimja.
Jimja.
Excellent.
Pleasure to meet you.
Dimmadome.
I figure if I fail.
You have gold pieces here. I'm guessing you're not supposed to have that here.
I don't advertise it to anybody, but
I wouldn't
for a
think
good
so.
bet.
Except for us.
Do you have any
I
other
know.
items that might be useful
Pretty
to
special.
getting out of this?
If I had something useful to get out of here, I would have done it.
How do you get contraband into here?
You be sneaky. You count on other fortunate prisoners who manage to sneak something in, but it rarely happens.
Do you know of anyone that might have something useful?
Are any of the guards
Brick walls though.
prone to being persuaded? I don't exactly know how, but I would say that we could barter something with them, but
Well, if you notice one of them, his face is a bit mangled. That one seems like a bit of a runt around here. That's all I know.
Oh, new troop.
Heskin nods.
Troop 2.
Troop 2.
That's the first nod of the new
Draw.
campaign.
What's that?
First Heskin nod.
Heskin nods.
One of
Heskin
first
nods.
of many.
So true.
Very true.
Heskin addresses the rest of his party and he says,
Hey.
well, I suppose that's a good place to start. If he's mangled, then perhaps he's unsatisfied, and perhaps we can persuade him to help us maybe get revenge somehow.
But how would we convince him?
Well, I'm not the articulate one. We do have a bard.
And just so you guys know, if things go wrong, I don't think they're going to hesitate to throw one of you guys off, the same as your friend.
That does put a little damper on things, doesn't it?
By the way, were you guys friends with a goblin?
Yeah, he was great.
Never really met a goblin I liked.
Neither have we until we met Drew. But he definitely special. He's more of like
He grew on
a
you.
B-side goblin, to be honest.
Mm.
Yeah, he had bugbears beating him up, and we went and got him, and then he just kind of stuck around. He's a cool
Charmingly pathetic.
We went out for ice cream.
We did go out for ice cream. It was great, and I taught him how to play an instrument, and Heskin taught him how to
Kill people.
kill people. It was great. He was an awesome goblin. He was an awesome goblin.
Well, if anyone knows any other method of getting out of here, I'm ready and willing to listen to any
I mean,
theories.
if you guys can get this guy close to the pen, I could probably take anything off him without him knowing.
I could definitely talk to him to come over here. I'm quite good with words. Definitely persuade him to come over.
And the reason is because my character would not say it like this, but my sleight of hand is +6. I don't know if anybody, I'm sure you guys
Mine is +6.
Oh, well then, hey. Either one of us can
well,
do this.
well then, hey.
Either one of us can do this.
Oh my god. Is there already a pissing contest?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I think that we're going to get along real well.
We'll see.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I gave him.
I'll do the talking. We're going to
I
work
give Devin
together.
unsure luck.
But I also don't think that I would risk myself too quick yet.
Yeah.
Although for 10 gold pieces, maybe.
I mean, you're escaping.
That's true.
It is kind of a nice, plus side.
It is
to
a nice plus side. But
I'm
I
not
don't
really.
know.
I'm not
I mean, like,
interested in the
obviously-
money right now because at this point I'm like, how are we even going to use it? So,
Yeah.
but I do want to work together with you because I think that you would be able to get the sword off of.
And here's the question: if we got this gate open, who's to say we're not just gonna step out of it and immediately noticed? Like, is there any?
I mean, I've got some spells I could use.
Do you have
Because
any
getting it
instruments?
open is like literally like maybe 5%.
That's just a focus.
Okay.
But you need that focus to use them, don't you?
Do I? Yeah. I guess I don't have any. I can't even use a cantrip. No, I thought only the spells that said focus.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah. Then I can use. Yeah, it's just a spell. It's just a
I think
focus. You don't
there's-
have to use materials if
Yeah,
you
there's
have your
like
focus.
the was it
M
S
is
and D
material.
or whatever, yeah,
Yeah,
or
VSM.
somatic or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
verbal
Somatic
material.
and
Yeah, material, yeah.
verbal. Yeah. So I can still use some spells. They're just the ones with materials. I couldn't
Here's another
use.
question. What would attract their attention? Would a brawl attract their attention, or do they not care what happens in here at all?
I doubt they'd care.
Should I roll for that?
Um,
that?
I mean, you seem to know the way of the place the best.
Yeah.
As you've been here, a couple of the prisoners that are in here, in particular, one of the orcs and this female dwarf have sort of gotten into scuffles with each other, but the most it's really attracted is like some amusement from the guards, and then just sort of boredom, and they leave. But they don't care what you do.
So they don't seem to care too much about brawls or really a lot that maybe happens in here. But I mean, maybe if this guy is, not happy, we could at least talk to him. Maybe not ask him to escape. That seems a bit quick.
No.
This is
that
a first
sounds like
date,
it will not.
so maybe just anybody who
This is
likes to
actually
talk.
the dating sim version of D&D
D&D.
5th edition.
You have
It's,
to woo each character
yes.
to their liking.
Can't think of a more romantic first date.
First thing.
Mm.
And then the Underdark.
Cozy.
Isengard.
Torches,
Nice long.
Yeah.
protect mushrooms.
Yeah.
We're chained up.
Oh, Russia. I mean,
Oh.
that's
I mean, if
kinky
you're
as
That's a
into
hell.
whole other thing there. Yeah.
And it's like advanced too. Like you have like you're all
So,
interconnected.
Jim Jaw said that he would give who 10 gold pieces? Just
The
anyone who
first
swiped
person,
it.
First
the
one
first
would get a
person who
sword.
swipes something.
Okay.
Which,
I thought you said
honestly,
sword.
actually, for 10 gold, even if you were better at it, I think Deck would be like, no, I'm going to try to take something.
No.
Because I
Yeah.
want 10 gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anything, I'd probably. I won't say anything. So, do we know when this guy's coming in, or are we just waiting
Like I
around?
said, you see occasionally somebody will walk by, so if you wanted to grab their attention, you could try.
Okay. Excuse me. Are you a guard here? The shift looks like it's terrible. What time is it?
Are you joking me right now?
No, I'm quite serious. Is your shift almost over, or what?
He keeps watching.
He says, "Have
He just keeps watching.
You're
Oh,
not-
wait. I have some interesting information the drow might want to hear.
Roll a
Nice. Pull the
Oh,
drow card.
gosh.
deception check.
A deception.
Drow card, yes.
Pull the race card.
No. Okay.
Worst live all time.
Wow.
We're screwed.
We're boned.
No.
What'd you roll?
Beyond.
I rolled a 2, but I have plus a lot, so
Have some
8. 9, sorry. No, it would be 8 because it's my character sheet's a little weird.
Peace off, prisoner.
No.
He keeps walking.
Yeah.
Pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure talking to you.
Nice to be in the neighborhood.
It's good to be out. So that guy's stopped.
We could throw rocks at him.
Can I throw a rock
Do you want
at
it
him?
thrown to the spider? Because that's how you get thrown in the
Oh,
spider.
I can't do that. I'm sorry. I can't do the spiders, man.
Sorry to mention spider.
You could certainly try. But keep in mind that you are currently shackled, and to throw something, it would be like a.
Are we individually shackled
Are
or
there
shackled?
very
For my own pride, I
Alright.
won't do it.
I'm no.
Sorry, individually
There's-
shackled or shackled as a group?
When you were brought in, it was like chain gang. You were all
Okay.
together, but now it's just like your legs are free, and you are free from the other prisoners. But you are basically kept so that your arms are towards your waist.
Okay.
So would there be some sort of disadvantage on roll for like if somebody did try like a sleight of hand or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, if you were to try to
Yeah,
grasp,
yeah.
you can.
I mean, if it was like
Yeah.
waist high maybe and like right there, but
Yeah.
other than
I mean,
that,
you have some movement, but for you, if you wanted, for example, to try to get through like the gate of these cells and like
yeah.
grab a sword off
That's gonna
somebody
be
and
rough.
flip back through the bars, and yeah, it would be real tough.
Yeah, 10 gold.
And perhaps impossible
Yeah.
to actually reach, depending on I mean, unless the guards like.
I imagine that's the
Felt
only reason
distance.
Deck wouldn't have tried that already.
Can I
Because it's pretty much impossible.
can I get with Deck to see if maybe we can work out a way to maybe unlock each other's hands in some way?
Heskin sees Deck as useful and wants to introduce himself because I don't think that's been done yet. I could be wrong, but I don't think you introduced your name
Oh, no,
yourself.
no.
Oh,
So
no,
Well, that might be what you're saying.
Heskin will ask him. Well, say, my name is Heskin. What's yours?
My name's Deck. Nice name.
Heskin
So-
Are you
has-
talking about your own or?
Yeah, no, yeah, my name. I like my name. I could really like my playing cards back. I don't think he would like be too interested in like who you guys are. Just like, can you help get me out of here? Like he wants to know. Like I would want to know. Yeah, like if you guys got any magic? Like come on, I don't have any magic. You guys use any of that stuff?
One thing
Yes.
I can do is create a fog cloud.
Now
Which
that-
might be
that
helpful.
is
I
interesting.
can create
I
fire. but-
Definitely. I mean, somebody has thaumaturgy, right? That's one of them.
I have
I don't know if it works.
prestidigitation.
Does stuff work here?
I-
Has anybody tried? I don't see why it wouldn't.
I mean,
I don't feel connected to Diane's set here.
Yeah, same.
I don't feel connected to anything here.
So I don't know.
I mean, I have prestidigitation, but as a cantrip that I could possibly just make a small illusion, but it's not going to do much for us if we can't actually get out of here.
And if we can't move our hands.
Yeah.
What
You
are
said you were good with your hands, right?
Yeah. When they're not locked
When they're not locked,
together. Generally.
Do you think we could probably break each other's bonds?
Well, I've been sitting over here in this corner pretty much every day trying to scratch them off on any rock or wall I can find.
It's brick.
It pretty much
Stone.
does nothing. Yeah, this hard stone wall you see here.
You can see the notches for how many times
I've done it. Yeah,
Yes.
it's about 27 now. But
Well, you've been here a while.
Can Heskin search
You just have a
for
thimble full of a bladder.
a
That's just
sharp surface? Like, is there a stalagmite or type? Are they the ones at the bottom?
I can
Guys,
insult guys. I can
might
insult
reach
the
the ceiling,
guard.
but stalactites
And-
cling tightly to the ceiling.
Seriously? Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, is there a stalagmite?
I know Kieran will.
There are like small, like very small, like
Only uses
rocks
one
and like
somatic.
debris and like unevenness to the ground that you're on. It's
They're-
pretty smooth, but you could find like something
Almost all
along the
pictures
covered
are
wall or something that kind
pretty
of
good.
juts out a little bit if you're looking for something like that.
See a lot of mine. I don't.
But as to like a large, protrusion from the ground, not really.
I mean, what the hell? It's only a check. Can I check to see if I can try to maybe do that? Like,
Yeah, you just want
find something sharp to kind of.
yeah, those things on there. Yeah, sure. Roll a strength check.
yeah, that's
Not
this is
go
gonna be
well.
pretty good, right?
Oh,
He's a
yeah.
strong fellow.
Sorry, buddy. That didn't work.
Gentlemen.
You need to take my
What'd
party
you roll?
die.
Did you roll?
6.
It's some
Yeah,
bad
two.
rolls.
Uh,
Oh,
It's a strong start.
You spent a little bit of time
I'm standing
trying
on
to
guns.
break them away, but
Right.
I mean, 15 minutes, 3 minutes, however long you end up
and
struggling, you don't really make any progress.
Deck would say, for Dragonborn, that was literally one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Heskin,
Elwin laughs really
Heskin
hard.
stares at him expressionless.
I try not to laugh.
yeah, Elwin's just laughing really hard.
Yeah, some of the other prisoners are also kind of watching you, and they've made a spectacle of it. You actually see Jim Jars like going around and like 5 gold pieces. Anybody? Can
Yeah.
Can you break them?
I hate this
This
guy.
guy, though.
Okay, here's what else we can do. He feels like he knows stuff.
It's like a real Conan.
Let's just intimidate the shit out of this guy. Beat him up.
Bacon.
Just beat him up and just try to get him to tell us stuff. Like, he has gold in here. I don't even have gold in here, and I'm a freaking rogue. Like, he does. If he has gold,
He has gold. I mean,
we're not. We already know they don't care if we brawl.
he obviously can
Yeah.
get out and get gold somehow. So,
I mean,
or at least he said he just to be sneaky. That's pretty vague. So,
I mean, we could
I don't
make
trust him
enemies
either.
with the other prisoners, or alternatively, we could become allies, and perhaps we could all work together to.
he seems
Create a
like
prison
kind of a
riot.
douchebag. But
I
yeah,
would have to
prison
side
riot.
with.
We're all in the same cell together,
what the
guys. I can hear
hell
you.
are you guys talking about? I have my hand like on my face to this. Like, okay, these guys. These are the ones. You sure that they're useful?
I cannot.
Just so I can establish my mental image here better, like, what are, like, the dimensions of this cell? Like, is it, like, a large, like...
We test.
There's room to move around, and there's room for prisoners to sort of avoid each other. But if you're having a casual conversation like this, everybody in there can hear what you're saying.
Okay, well then at that, I would just stare at Jim Jaw like, yeah, I just said all that.
It's
and
maybe
kick your ass.
it's maybe like the size of this room, maybe like 1 to 2 times this size or something like that. Enough for
Okay.
the number
Oh
of
my God, I
prisoners
was
that are
imagining
here
it
and
much more
some space
massive
there.
than that.
Yeah, I was like imagining, like, a giant, like...
No, you're
Kinda
not like a
like a
weird
warehouse.
You're in this
Yeah.
little shitty the hole in the wall,
Yeah,
basically.
we're the
where
slaves.
they're
Why would they
throwing
give us
you in.
space? Or you
Now,
guys
are there any
slaves, right?
posters that
You're
could
like at the
slowly
Major
scratch?
College.
Squid with a spoon.
Yes, there's
Every
Sports Illustrated.
the Shawshank.
Right
of
here,
this.
guys. And I
Yeah.
pull down the Sports Illustrated poster, revealing.
Oh my god.
So,
Okay.
Do we have
Well-
like a Morgan Freeman as well with us who sells cigarettes? Yeah.
so
That's
while,
Jim Jar.
That's
while-
Jim Jones. What are we
You
doing?
need cigarettes? I got
You're gonna beat up Morgan Freeman. That was the...
This is perfect the whole time.
So as you guys are plotting to make enemies, this fish-like creature, is sort of overweight and a little heavy in the face, kind of steps forward.
Alright.
My friends, but there's no need to make enemies here.
Oh,
You should
here
remember,
we go.
Hey, let's hear him out.
We need to remember who the true enemies are. It's the drow that put us all in here.
Right.
Well, we got a half drow right over here.
And we have a full drow over here. He points to a full drow that's
He's like, oh.
Racist.
Oh, I
I
didn't
just-
notice that.
Just kind
He's
of.
just like,
I haven't done any perception rolls since I've been here. Sorry.
It's dark. Whatever.
Well,
all will be fine, my friends.
So
This will be good.
I just walk away and start like pacing around the edge of the pin, and then just looking for anything that might be.
Useful.
we have a bear. Why can't we pick a bear to do something?
Yeah, what's the story with the bear? I will say, that's pretty cool.
Ranger.
It's just my bear.
Don't worry about that.
Don't ask
Don't
me to
worry about it.
Okay, well, what kind of teeth do bear have? Like, do they have any real sharp ones?
They do. I imagine like a
Not
dog.
cheese.
does.
Blood of
Is she
bear witch.
chained?
No.
She is chained up in
Imagine like a
in a very restrictive way. I mean, like all legs are sort of like like solid T-bar of metal that like I mean she can't even really walk.
Well,
Just
no,
sort of
I
like-
have no doubt that the bear could do anything, but what if we were to just pull one of these teeth and use for our own... I guess we'd have to use our hands.
You see this bear just like if I
You
could
won't
walk
try?
right now, I would eat you.
Okay,
Don't
I feel
try.
like I wouldn't be the one to do this.
Oh my god.
But maybe if its owner were to be willing.
Oh, that's dark.
So you
It's
ask
I just stare at you.
The bear wants out too.
Yeah,
want
you and Izzy together, it's just like fierce.
Like,
I don't
And
know.
then I just continue walking.
We need sharp
And
You're,
things
you're
right
just a
now.
case.
We
I mean,
need
you're not
sharp,
finding
pointy
anything.
things.
You're casing.
While everyone's doing that, can I cast prestidigitation and make it look like there is a prisoner that got out?
you
And
nailed the
have-
pronunciation.
Prestidigitation?
Got him.
I was.
You focus for a moment, but as you might expect,
Was there like
Nothing
a
happens.
magic block in here?
and as you're trying to do this, there's the orc that is currently in here is just like even stupid Ron knows that's not gonna work in here.
Why is that?
Shoot him a glare.
Why
Right,
would
stupid
they
Ron.
let
What else do you know?
magic into the safe pack?
So there's some kind of block. Probably magic block.
Ah,
Great. Now you guys took on magic. My hands are tied up. Do any of us
My
have
hands
anything
are-
that we're good
my
good
hands
at
are tied.
that we have? We've got a bear, but nobody will do anything with it because they're afraid of hurting it. And you guys won't beat up the one guy who knows anything because you think we should all be friends.
Just
What have you
throw
done while
you
you're
at
here?
the lock.
I've
See what
beat it
happens.
27 times.
Can someone who has really high strength? Can anybody just?
Well, that was Heston.
tried.
That was
but-
Oh,
my
he-
chance.
He went. "Mm."
And like the
Really
die that was
focused.
working great last night was just kind of like, not tonight.
2 nights in a row, man? Nah.
Can't do that, man. I gotta
Can't
rest.
bless everybody.
And I
Exactly.
get. Okay. I realize like.
Is there? Can I try again? But maybe like to help one of them get free. Like, is there a stone that I could try to smash on one of the chains? Really?
Is there any way we can like?
Guessing I could at least raise my arms even
Is
if I
there
can't
a
really.
lantern or something? Like
Wide.
I have
Am I
So-
wrong?
It's like oil.
Out of game, to avoid just everybody trying to
Over
break
and
their
over
chains
again.
over and over.
Yeah, I understand.
You wouldn't be able to try to break yours, and you wouldn't really be able to help anybody. Basically, the amount of effort that you put
That I
into
put into
trying to
it.
break yours.
Sure.
But say 2 people in a day could maybe attempt to break them or something like that,
Right.
just to kind of metagame that.
Right.
So,
Is
Yeah,
there
so we
any-
don't just roll for
Yeah,
the same
right.
thing.
but if somebody else wanted to try to break them, they could try.
Is there any way we could probably like get 2 people to like cross their chains in a way and pull to try and like break it? You know, like each one is like pulling away while their chains are like, like linked.
I think that was just really hurt our arms.
I don't know if we rolled okay.
Man, it's a.
I'll just knock you down.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Oh, shut up already!
Okay. I am a bard.
Okay. How? Can we please just beat this guy up? I mean, is everybody against it? In fact, what am I talking about? Why do I kill? I turn to Jim Draw, roll for intimidation, and start. I want to kick him because I can't use my hands. It's just something and kind of yelling at him like,
I just
"Tell
wanted
us
to kick
That's the
how are
magic
you
in
getting
the
stuff
handcuff.
in here, and if you can get gold, surely something."
Sure. Roll for Roll for an attack at disadvantage.
Oh boy. Okay.
It's gonna be like a 19 and then a 2.
Well, there's a 3.
Oh no! This is just.
Very
And I don't have any proficiency because I'm using my
Best
feet.
first beat ever.
So you just start running at him. He just is running away from you, like throwing your legs at him. He's just like dipping and dodging out of the way.
That
As
makes me laugh.
As that chaos is starting to happen, that like fish-looking creature kind of steps in again, like, please, just everybody, settle down.
Oh my god, this guy. Okay, what is.
He's like trying to get in between you guys, so now there's just like 3 of you like hopping around in these chains and.
So then okay, Fishman, guy. If you're so calm, why? You realize that we're probably gonna die if we just stay in here. I don't want to die. I imagine you don't either. In fact, how are you not dead? You're a fish. Anyway. Do you know anything about this? I know we haven't talked much since I've been here. I hope we can get closer.
Well, as long as you don't kick me. Whoa.
Well, as I have disadvantage on attack rolls, I probably won't be doing that.
He's like,
I
what
don't
does that
understand.
mean?
And I translate that to seeing as I'm tied up and can't do anything. Fine. But do you know anything helpful?
We're prisoners here.
Wow.
Oh
In Oracle, I see.
Even I like.
If
Just
you don't
kinda-
know, my friend, these are slave traders. We're waiting
For what?
The world
to
to
be
change.
sold into slavery.
Okay, well there we go. We wait till we're slaves.
Good.
And
Great.
we wait for emancipation.
Ha. No. No.
So I just kind of hear that, and me and Izzy, we just kind of go over to a corner that seems a little quieter than the rest of the corners.
We
Get as
sure
far
do.
away from that as possible, and just get comfy.
We're gonna take that
It's-
negative energy
And I yell over, hey, are you pulling that tooth out?
And I just stare
Use the
back,
tooth.
arms crossed.
You're just like chilling.
Just a
against,
groupie.
I just
All right,
chilling
though,
against
but if
the
you
feet.
pull it, just let me know.
If we just wait, the universe has its ways, my friends.
Even on
Just-
the
Oh my
We just
sweet.
need to wait until one of the guards tries to come in,
And then kill him, right?
About waiting.
and then kill him.
or just
This
get his
guy.
sword.
This
Okay.
this
And then-
guy.
I mean, we could definitely like Breaking Bad him and put our chains over his neck and pull him, kill him.
Yeah.
What?
Haskin was thinking that.
That's
He wasn't going to say that.
No,
Um,
I don't hear this.
hold on.
So you guys end up continuing your conversations,
charm
making
person.
friends, making enemies with
I have charm person.
these other prisoners, and
It
Is
sounds
that
like
what
there's like a magic block.
But you can't use magic.
That's
I
right.
can persuade him to have me step outside of the block,
But magic.
but it seems like
We don't know if it's only confined to that cell, though.
Ah, that's true. I have charm person as a spell.
it probably wouldn't be.
Okay, well thank
Yeah,
you.
I think
It's
all
the
that
other
is
person
smirk.
So
Like,
God
ah.
doesn't exist here, magic doesn't exist.
Yeah, you just here. Are you sure you don't just have
He's
like
not
your
the
holy symbol
god.
on like airplane mode or something?
Right?
Yeah.
There's no reception now.
Okay, sorry. You were saying we're making friends with enemies?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to have any other conversations, otherwise just continuing to, you know.
How Jimjaw, how do you get gold around here?
I take bets with people, and they take bets with me.
How do they get gold?
Well, some of these guards have lost bets to me, so
Fair enough.
they gave me a few coin on the side.
What have you bet guards for before?
Well,
Anything?
you know how they are. Sometimes they'll pit us against one another and have us fight, so
Oh,
I like to put a friendly wager on who might lose those fights, and I've won a few times.
Why do they actually
Hmm.
pay you? Why wouldn't they just welch? They're in no position to actually give you any money.
It's true, but they enjoy the challenge.
They enjoy the challenge.
Have you ever bet anything else other than gold?
Oh, that's a good question.
I feel like I know
Back
what
in my
this is.
prime, perhaps, but all I
In
have
the
here
jail
on me
cell.
is some
Okay.
He was like, "Will you see that blood stain over there?"
That was me.
You're next. Is there any notches in the walls or anything?
27
Yes.
of them, actually.
Yeah.
Oh well,
There's
other than
27
the
piss
27
notches.
piss notches.
Yeah.
Great name for a
Actually, I'm
band.
about to be at 28.
27 piss notches.
27.
And then I walk
Piss
over
notches.
and notch and then pee.
Oh
It's like, yeah.
That's bold. What if you have like
It's like
very
99
confectional,
red
and you, like,
balloons,
knock
but
before you can?
27
I'm a
piss
gambling man.
notches.
like you just stand there until you can? Like
Haskin asks Jimjaw, do you have a better relationship with them than the rest of the inmates here because you've provided them entertainment?
I don't think I have that kind of luxury, but I've got a little bit of coin.
Would you be willing to sitting in the corner and just trying to wave you guys like, just wait, come on.
Just
I want
wait.
to ask. There's another drow, you said?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go up and ask him. So how did you get in here?
Same as everybody else.
Okay.
I made a few words.
You were trying to steal stuff too?
We weren't trying to
Let's go.
steal anything, so.
Roll
Yeah,
a
why are you
perception
guys?
check.
Oh, that's okay. That's better. Rolls
Yeah.
good. Oh,
It's like not even rolling; it just lands.
It's a good night.
This is a bad 8.
We're gonna be in
man.
this cell for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, he's a drow for sure, but
Wow.
you
They
don't
don't
really
say.
pick up on.
Wow, he is such a drow.
There's. Yeah, I mean, you don't pick up on.
this is a dumb question. Are there female drows? Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
they're
there's
the ones
female
in
drows.
charge, man.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So, like, are
So-
any of these guards a female drow? Because
No,
So,
probably not.
You've been here
Okay.
long enough to know.
They're like the priestess.
You've been here long enough to know, and they make sure that you know. The woman who is stationing this outpost is Ilvara, and she insists that you call her mistress.
Yeah.
And she
That
is
sounds.
so. It
Does
was
she have a whip?
it was male drow who it was male drow who threw this goblin over in the beginning, and a lot of the brutality that this party has seen so far has been the male drow. But she's
can you say your name one more time?
Ilvara.
No problem.
She's worse than that. She's a real bitch.
Gotcha. I think I'm kind of into her.
And the drow are as a society. I mean, they are a
Massive.
matriarchy, and it is the
Gotcha. I
female
didn't know
food.
that. Okay.
Yeah. They,
That's cool.
They just throw down.
Interesting.
I mean, you're all chained up. She's ready for you, man. It's.
I don't think I wouldn't tell you. First of all, this would be a very personal thing between me and some
And
sleight
your
of hand
mistress.
checks.
Sweet Diane said.
I kind of understand though. Like Elwyn totally is on the same wavelength. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get her anywhere near here.
So
No.
as you're talking to this drow, you hear a hello, hello. Can you hear me?
The hell?
please tell me it's true.
You?
And none of you guys hear this right now, but you hear something trying to get your attention. Roll a perception check.
Okay, I'm gonna roll it not on my paper this time. Oh! 22! Yeah!
So you hear this,
Sorry, I have a
this,
finger.
this thing kind of calling out to you. You look around. It takes you a moment, but you see like on the ground what appears to be like a very small looking like mushroom, kind of like a very like
I'm excited.
kind of fat little plump tiny mushroom that initially when you first got in here you might have just discounted as like a rock or something that was just off in the corner, but it's kind of like you can see that it's like jumping up and down sort of in sync with this hello.
And she's the only one who sees this right now, right?
Tripping out.
He is the only one who sees
You're
this.
aware that this whatever it is has
It's
been
there.
in the cell with
But
you.
not that
It
it's
moves
now
around
jumping and
stuff.
talking.
Yeah, but you
Okay.
you haven't heard it say anything, but you've seen it move. You know it's a creature.
Okay.
But as to what its deal is, you're not really
Gotcha.
positive.
Hi!
You see now the orc is like, who are you talking to?
Yeah, now I suppose we all hear her talking.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
it's just so out of the blue, she's just like looking at this like mushroom like, hi.
You've literally, and then Dex says, you've literally been here 30 minutes. You've already gone insane.
No.
You're not going to last waiting.
No.
You
Listen to him.
see, they can't hear you right now, but you just have to think it, and I'll hear you.
What? Oh my god. Oh my god, what?
There's a
Are you saying this out loud, or
I whispered that, and then yeah, so I said
Yeah.
that out loud. But now
so now everybody's like watching you like whisper like, what? She's really gone crazy already.
Yeah, he's having a hard time. Elwyn is just.
It's all the spiders.
It's all the spiders. It was a right night.
So yeah, they are.
Yeah. So Elwyn, I guess, can he pick the mushroom guy up?
It'd be difficult with the chains that you're in. I mean, it's possible to
Okay,
do it, but
well-
you'd have to like
Well,
kind
then
of lay on the
I'm
ground.
I'm gonna excuse myself and then go sit down next to the mushroom, like
Okay.
nonchalant.
I better go talk to my new friend over here. Excuse me.
I just sit down next to it. I'm like,
That drow over there, Seraph.
Sarah
He used to be a guard around here.
used to be a guard.
Yeah, but don't tell him I told you that.
I won't.
Well,
He's had it a bit rough here, so
What did he do
he
to
doesn't really talk to anybody.
get in?
Well, I don't know for sure, but what he says is that he's been framed, and the drow accuse him of killing somebody.
Well, you're usually pretty proud of something like that.
Well, this was a problem on the inside. He killed another drow. That was unacceptable, but he has no memory of that happening, so he swears he was framed.
Very odd.
He doesn't like to talk much, but, well, he took me in, and, well, then
Ah.
they took him in, and so now I'm in.
Well, what are you?
Oh, I'm a myconic.
Okay.
What are you?
You know, that's a great question. I'm a half drow.
that's why you cannot tell here,
Oh.
and we can't.
Yeah, okay, it's all clicking now.
That's so fucking cool.
Vegetation!
You can
So is
try
he
to
speaking
follow
in
that.
whatever.
undercommon or is he speaking in deep?
What would your...
If
like,
he's speaking undercommon, I can understand him. I should point that out as how.
you don't hear even
Okay,
a
okay.
noise from him. What would be your, like,
I don't even understand.
perhaps,
Not
like,
even
the...
understand.
So if your character were thinking in your head, what
Literally
thoughts
on a
would that
different
be?
wavelength.
What language would that be?
That would probably just be an Elvish.
Okay, so it's Elvish.
Okay,
Just what you hear.
cool.
Is this mushroom like an extraplanar being? Like, does he exist like only?
What is
It looks like, I mean, it just looks like a
I tried, I don't know.
mushroom with a... I mean, at this point, it's very
That's really
short
cool.
and stout with, like, legs that you almost couldn't
The
really
handle on the
distinguish
stout.
from, like, the stalk of the mushroom.
looks like Toad.
The Underdark doesn't know
Yeah.
shit.
Is he like just basically Toad?
Yeah,
He's Toad.
He's very much like Toad, but not quite as colorful and not with, like, the distinct face, you know?
Dark
It's like...
Toad.
Like if Toad had like a massive
Toad.
like
Emo Toad.
helmet, yeah,
Toad.
Emo Toad.
yeah, he is kind of
He's not a
emo Toad.
character.
Nobody
But he's so
understands.
sweet.
Also should be a name.
Puts it-
Yeah.
So what's his name?
Wow.
I feel like his name should now be Toad.
It's a freaking
Oh.
body.
We'll go with that.
Well, it's called a. These guys are called a help, but these are
Dark
pretty good.
toad.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
to connect like this type to.
Mhm.
What did you do to get put in here?
Well, Sarah took me in. I sound a little bit like Drew, but
Don't remind us.
I know. I gotta
A
keep
single
he's
tear.
put into a mushroom.
This is.
I thought when I
This is
heard
a-
a noise, I was like, I'm gonna see Droop like pop
Yeah.
through like a hole in the ground. I'm like,
This is actually like Ellen's like grief fever dream.
I know.
Yeah.
It's really weird, man.
I gotta. Too many. It's too similar. Even when I was practicing his thing, I was like, oh shit.
It's all the cute little creatures in
Yes,
this
the
campaign
little-
are gonna sound like Droop.
There's only so many voices.
Anyway, since this is in your head and now I feel like I'm too into Droop mode, he just explains that Sereth had found him. Toad had sort of wandered away from Neverlight Grove, which is where he was from, and that Sereth had sort of taken him in as he was lost during perhaps like a slave raid that he would have been on in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Toad isn't quite sure, and then shit hit the fan, and they were both thrown
They
into
got
this
both
thing
thrown
together.
in.
So at this point, I think one of us should probably ask. Oh, I would. Okay, are you talking to that mushroom?
And at this point, I'm assuming you have just been thinking.
Yes.
It's in her head.
Yes.
That's
so
why
there was-
I just sat next to it.
There was
Gotcha. I'm
not
sorry.
you saw
yeah,
initially.
He.
You saw her like
him.
hello.
But then she went and sat
Sorry.
down.
There you're good.
Gotcha.
You saw like hello, and then a like this mumbling like, am I going fucking crazy? And then now just
Now she's
silence
sitting
next
okay,
to
so
him.
this is exactly what I would expect
Yeah,
a
this
crazy
little
person to
person.
be doing. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just looking around like when he talks about Seraph, I'll look at the drow, I guess, and
Yeah.
then look back at the mushroom.
He. Sorry, I'm gonna just fuck it up for a little bit again.
It's all good.
He
We'll work on it.
seems to be just there is like a peculiarity to the behavior of just like
Yeah,
you know kind of looking at this little thing on the ground and like looking at different prisoners and things like that.
Neck understands. Sometimes you gotta have a little bit of a small mental
Insane,
breakdown.
So, Seraph, is he a good guy? He seemed to have picked you up, which is, I'm assuming, a good thing.
He really wants to take me back, so back to Neverlight. So I think he's okay. He's a bit down on his luck.
Aren't we all?
It's true. I would love to go home. Perhaps Sarah and I can go there together someday.
I look really like fondly at this little mushroom.
Yeah, the orc in here is just giving you like the dirtiest looks as you're sitting there.
I stand up and like thank you, Toad.
He goes and kind of cuddles up next to this drow who's just isolated away from everybody else.
He's got like a toad dog.
That's really cute.
So, as soon as that little exchange ends, let me see here. What would this be? One of the drow guards steps up to the cell, and you can see his face is mangled.
Yeah,
It
that's
is-
my boy.
Oh, it's all mangled face.
Deck, say that out loud.
Oh yeah. Oh, here he comes. Get that shit away from me. God,
Taunting the
such
guard.
weird people down here. I don't know why I ever
He's
came.
super nice.
Yeah, this guy's got like one eye that kind of looks intact, the other is just like completely white and not in like
Hot.
oh wow, that's really mysterious and cool, but like
Maybe give it an eye.
Like,
you know, it's like it's hard to look at. It's like the kind of thing where you're like, I know I'm not supposed to look at that eye.
Like I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because he knows I'm
Yeah,
a judge.
yeah, and his face is just all cut up.
What's that?
Everybody roll a perception check.
My dice hear you. You have to call it something else. You have to
Oh my god.
like check for awareness. Maybe that.
Sorry, I'm like
Really horrible.
Okay,
I've
not
never
horrible.
rolled so poorly
18.
before.
Nice.
You've
17.
given me.
Hey,
Ugh.
sorry.
Wait, are we adding or like?
I rolled a 2 twice.
Yes.
Just now.
6.
I was like, oh, and then I just want to see if I got something. A 2.
Okay.
So,
It's not that difficult to tell. To be honest, I don't even know why I had you guys roll, just because it's fun.
Mhm.
But
I like rolling.
you also see that like some of the fingers on his hand are like missing, and I mean just in general, this guy is pretty fucked up. So, anyways, he steps up to the
when I
cell.
cut my finger off.
Time to put you to work.
Oh my God.
You 5, you're coming with me, and you 4, you're going with him. There's another drow sort of a few steps behind him. That drow is actually in decent shape and looks like a normal drow.
Oh great, I'm stuck with these weight people. These let's
The rest of you
frozen,
sit
everybody.
tight. So he has. Let me start using names. Where did my name sheet
I
go?
want to go with Toad.
Mangle Face's name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Old mango
Um,
face.
I may never
Old
stop.
man.
So he puts Deck, Elwyn, Eliwick,
Great.
Stool, and then Jim Jar together in one group, and you're going with old Mangleface. And then the other party would be. I have this. That'd be Heskin, and Erwin, and
Nice.
the Frogman, and
Sorry,
Sarah.
no.
So is the frogman kind of like
That's your
favorite
Puddle
name.
Glum?
Actually, he's not.
Running
He's
joke.
not.
He's like
He's a
fish
fish
guy, but is he kind of like Puddle
Wait, which
Glum
one are you in?
from like
From the Chronicles of
Narnia?
Narnia.
I mean-
the Silver Chair. Anyways,
Okay.
sorry, you
Oh,
said it was
this is-
Heskin, Erevan,
Great.
Fish Guy,
Puddle Glum?
Puddle Glum.
Puddle Glum. Like, yeah.
What?
And so it's-
No, this
Is
guy
that
looks
like
like a human.
Elwyn and Eliwick.
Oh.
And
And
No, this guy actually
and,
looks like a
Jim
fish with
Jaw
like regular
and
people
somebody
legs,
else.
kind of.
I don't know who it was last time.
That's
So
I'm
it's
immediately
Heskin,
imagining
Erevan,
SpongeBob character.
Fish Guy,
Stool?
right?
it's the
It
other
is
drow.
Peskin, Erevan, Fish
I
Guy,
thought
and
Sarah
then
was
the
other drow.
emo
I
drow.
thought there was.
Emo drow.
Oh, was there
Yeah.
two?
No,
I don't
the
know.
drow.
The
There's
guy.
only one.
So-
It's Sarah.
Is
Sarah?
Sarah?
But we don't
Wait,
know.
is Sarah coming with us then?
No, he's coming with
No.
Erevan and Heskin.
That's the
Who-
other
who
part.
was-
So,
who
so the
was
first
the-
party. So we're gonna play this out in like 2 stages.
Okay,
So
yeah.
round 1 is
Round
going to be
You said
Deck.
stool?
Deck,
Right.
Owen. Sorry, it's
Oh.
that is Toad's name. So
Oh!
give
We
him
got
the full name
Toad,
of
man!
Cage
of
match
Toadstool.
between that team.
Toadstool!
Sarah, it's
Uh,
actually a cage match between like that chain gang and this chain gang.
Yeah. So
That's a
Deck,
good
Gotta
name.
get in there and just.
Elwyn, Eliwick, Stool, Jim Jar.
Sweet.
I wrote it down.
Hanging out with
That's
the
okay.
sex
When we're with old
Old
man face.
Mangleface.
Let's not call him. Let's not be dicks. to
He
him.
escorts you guys
Sweet old
back
Mangleface.
to the large stalactites when you first arrived on this lift. And you enter into one of these, and as you do, you can see that it's divided into 2 chambers. There's an upper chamber where you are entering into, and then there's like this hole that has been sort of carved into the flooring that leads down into a lower chamber.
Okay.
And the whole place in here is outfitted with just different furniture and small chairs and tables where Jarl might come and relax. And then you see like bunks with chests at the end of them. And it seems to be like a resting quarters of some kind.
Bunks.
Okay, prisoners, you're going to clean out the barracks. You're going to dust. You're going to rearrange furniture as I see fit. You'll scrub the floors.
Gonna get the feng shui really going in here, guys.
Make it clean.
Okay.
You gonna wait outside?
Don't get funny, prisoner. He,
Yeah, I thought that was the answer.
Yeah.
Can I think to Toad,
Subtle.
Stool, anything? Just
You can try.
what do you know about this guy?
Well, I don't know how to do my voice.
It's okay. Just
Wait,
do
Toadstool
your best.
said that in character. He's,
I don't know what to do. My voice is
he's having a self-actualization moment.
He's so
I'm
cute.
breaking the fourth wall. He just starts tripping. Well, that's Yorlin. He's well, he's just one of the drow guards around here. I don't know much about him, but his name.
Thank you.
He's got it.
So is Stool in the chain gang with them? Is it like normal person, normal
It's
person,
just
normal
this
person,
little
mushroom, or is it
mushroom
like
He's
Well, I mean, I'm short as not
so you
short
guys
as
have this
mushroom.
escort individually. He is actually not any restrictive change because there's really nothing to restrict. He's just like a.
He's unstoppable.
He has no
Yeah.
limbs.
just
How's he
like,
gonna
just like
clean?
tie
What
like
is
a
that?
small like?
Oh.
Yeah, he's got like he can move around. He can like he has
Rag with
like
his feet.
maybe like little buds sort of on
Oh
the
my
side of him,
gosh,
but
so cute. You have to draw this guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's required.
Yeah.
He's like a
Oh my gosh.
Goomba almost,
Yeah.
with like feet wise.
yeah,
So
he is
cute.
totally a Goomba. Yeah,
That's so
he is a
cute.
Goomba.
Okay.
I should name him Goomba.
Out of character. Okay. Goomba.
My friends
Goomba.
call me Goomba.
My friends call me
This is
Goomba.
a terrible
Toadstool
answer.
Goomba.
Shit, we're gonna get sued.
Oh, I'm sorry, Nintendo.
Jump on one.
Mario, like the-
Okay.
So
Sponsor us.
Could mean frogs.
Yorlin actually unshackles you guys so that you can. He does expect you to clean. So
Wow.
he gives you your arms.
I
Yeah.
Oh,
Whoa! Just the.
I just gave you side eye. And it's like
And
Don't
I,
get any funny ideas, prisoner. You're here to clean.
that was.
yep, that's why I came down in the dark totally to clean your shit.
Then get started.
And how far away is he from us? Like if I were to whisper to these guys, would that be a
The room is probably about as big as this room. The
okay?
like circumference of the stalactite that you're in. So it's fairly small. You might be able to whisper to somebody without
Alright.
him.
Does anybody know? Oh, I couldn't ask this. I feel like I'd have to ask this in character. I guess I could just do it, and if they figure it out. So I know thieves can't, and some random people sometimes know thieves can't, which means if somebody else knows it, I can talk to them, and nobody else knows.
What- what can't
thieves.
thieves do?
It's called thieves
Yeah.
can't.
It's a language.
It's a language.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know that language.
Okay, I just thought maybe since you're so good at sleight of
Well-
hand, maybe.
No, I have.
So,
Well,
so do you ask
I
them?
have for urchin tools. I have thieves kits, and I'm proficient in a lot of thieving, but not.
Yeah, I think I would ask.
I can speak Elvish.
I let's say I do. I don't actually know
You
like
know any
in
other
canon how
languages?
thieves can't works, but let's say
Sure. Yeah.
I use
whatever
it
that is.
to the group of people I'm with and see if anybody responds that yes, I can.
So are you whispering to everybody?
In the group, yeah.
Okay.
If I mean, I would
It would
assume
be-
the guard wouldn't know.
So
I
you-
guess really I'm checking if Jim Jar knows it.
I'm just gonna have you roll a.
Yeah, I don't really
Probably deception check.
Okay. That's
And it basically the more people that you're trying to communicate with,
Mhm.
the more difficult it would be to not draw attention. But I believe with Thieves' Cant, it's also can be like, for example, if you were cleaning something and you wanted to like,
I could mark.
if you
something.
found like a dusty spot on the ground,
Yes.
you want to like put something on there and then brush it away real
Yeah.
quick or something, you could do that way
Yeah.
more easily.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if that's honestly like how it worked exactly.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's how I
think
understand
I would do that.
Okay,
At some point, cleaning, I would just make a little. dust.
so
Yeah. Just
I
like
don't think
write
any of
things
you
down, like,
speak Thieves' Cant, do you?
no,
No, I didn't.
I didn't
yeah.
know that was a thing.
Yeah,
but
I'm here.
Most, yeah.
The more
I mean, I know a lot
I
of
think it's
languages, but
mostly
not that one.
rogues who know it.
Yeah.
So.
As you put that symbol on the ground, Jim Jar actually comes up and like writes
Okay,
in Thieves'
good,
Cant
good,
next
good.
to it, like
Oh,
yeah, I got
boy.
you.
Yeah,
Brush
bro.
it away.
I got you.
I mentioned I'm
Like
sorry
texting.
for trying to kick you earlier.
he kind of gives you a wink and he seems pretty.
Yeah, and
okay with it.
wow, I have like a lot of. I don't know if Jim Jaw's the guy that I was hoping would.
you like start writing something.
Yeah, it's like you type
He looks at him.
He's pretty
Like
smug
the
about it
dot
too. When
dot.
he writes it there, he kind of gives you like the
yeah.
surprise,
Have you
motherfucker.
Like it's like sending a group text message and the one person you didn't really
Yeah,
care
yeah.
answered. Nah.
I thought I took you off.
You like start writing something. It's
surprise.
like when you see somebody responding, and it's just the dot dot dot, and then they erase it, and you're like just waiting for their response. You're just constantly like.
Okay, I know. I was gonna tell. I'm going to just write to him. Create distraction
And he puts like
outside.
you looking to make a bet.
Oh my god.
Oh Jesus! I say yes.
Have you guys seen like the Austin Powers like British slang scene where it's like him and his father like just like
Yeah.
doing really weird British slang? That's what I'm picturing. It's just them just like in the middle of the room, just kind of like half yelling really weird words at each other. Like, it makes
Writing
sense.
really weird words
Yeah.
on the floor.
Yeah.
So first, as this is all going on, are you guys actually
I'm going-
cleaning?
What is Jim Jaw, by the way?
Trying to make the bed with my short
he-
arms. Like,
Is he
Oh.
a human in a?
So
like, I
So
wanna go back to
Ginger,
the
just to describe his appearance, he he looks like a gnome, but he has a darker complexion like a dragon.
Oh, right. He's that guy.
He's a deep gnome.
Oh yeah, okay.
He's got long ears. He's got like a bunch of like little gold earrings that are sort of pierced throughout it. He's got sort of like a very like large, squared, honking nose. That's sort of the first thing that you notice, and maybe like a couple
picturing
little
like
scars and bits on his face, but nothing too severe.
Oh wait, so he's
Can
what?
I whisper
Sorry.
in Elvish?
He's a deep gnome.
Deep gnome.
I do know Elvish.
Can I whisper
I mean, I
in
speak
Elvish?
gnome.
I also know
So
Undercommon.
what-
I don't really know.
Yeah, Jim Jar would probably understand Undercommon. But I'm gonna whisper to you in Elvish, like, so what's the plan?
To who are you whispering
To, Deck.
to? Roll a deception check.
Yeah,
Oh, where's the
that's
dice?
the good thing about Thieves' Cant.
What is it? Oh, okay. You said deception?
Yeah.
Oh, 17.
I rolled my first natural 20 of the game. So,
Oh, crap.
With his loaded dice, right?
Yeah.
it is this one here, which is the one that you guys have questioned.
My next roll was a 22.
You
Um,
wasted it.
But
Yes.
so before I play this out, have you guys actually been cleaning?
I was trying to make
Yes.
the
I was
bed
kind
as best
of.
as I
So
could.
there's an attempt.
There was something.
There's like-
I
So-
don't like kicking
Like, I
stuff
don't
on
want
the
to
bed.
go back to
I'm not
stage,
with these
okay?
troublemakers, officer. That's not.
So everybody,
Yeah.
roll a performance check.
Can I keep this roll? No.
Oh boy.
Go.
Performance.
12.
Is that?
Oh, I know. I can't see it. Hold on. Oh my gosh.
That's, yeah.
12 in performance? Okay. 19.
15. Small like me.
Performance.
Okay, so that's
One
okay.
more.
You guys actually managed to make the place look fairly decent for
Punctual.
not wanting to
Decent,
do
right.
it and for coming in here and having to clean it up. You guys managed to do a good job, but as soon as you start to whisper, Yorling steps up and I didn't invite you in here to be whispering to one another. Do you need a reminder of how we operate around here?
No. I
actually am.
He just takes his whip and like just right across the front of the chest.
Of me?
Yeah.
Oh, that burns.
I was waiting
Yeah.
for him to throw
And you
it
take
off.
Me too. I was like, no, not again.
yeah. He's not
Like, this is
he's
Sparta
not like
kicks.
trying to kill you, but you do take 1 point of slashing damage.
Mango Face got some fury.
Oh,
This
gosh.
place looks like shit in here. Keep cleaning and stop talking.
Or remake the bed.
That face too.
For once,
I'm
Jack
trying,
wants
I'm
to
trying.
talk, but for
Try.
once, he doesn't.
Smart.
Doesn't really want to get
I,
slashed.
I'm just biting my, I'm just grinding my teeth because of the pain.
At this moment, you guys all hear a hello.
All.
Don't say anything. But if you think it, we can hear you.
Hey, Toad.
Hello, hello everyone.
I think hello.
I tell him.
I guess I'm making the bed, like,
continues
still
to
making the
make
bed.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can I think? Told you I guys. Or was it crazy, or can they not hear me?
Yeah, you guys hear in your head, sort of in your own voice, like, I told you I'm not crazy.
Like, oh man, I've been making this bed too long.
Shouldn't wear my nerves.
And Deck is assuming, like, he's thinking, like, I'm going crazy now. Like, looking like.
Yeah, roll a perception check.
All of
I
us?
don't think
I was
you
like,
immediately. Let's see, the first year.
Anybody who's a little weirded out
17.
can roll it. You sort of have a good sense that it's probably.
Okay. I guess
You don't understand what the hell is going on or why, but you attribute it to this toadstool,
Is that a
not
set?
some craziness that
Okay.
you're having. Yeah.
I'm just like, dying said?
I say
no,
so.
it's just me. My name is Toadstool. Sometimes I
okay.
forget, but my friends call me Goomba.
You look like a
Oh.
Goomba.
You look like.
I really want to stomp on you right now. Anyway, so you guys, everybody can hear me. I ask as Deck.
Yeah, you guys can all hear each
Unfortunately,
other.
I think, as I look like,
Yeah.
Oops.
So
Yep.
here we are with our hands untied,
Hey guys,
along with the guard.
are we sticking with that bet, man? We
Oh,
gonna do
fuck,
this?
this guy's
can
here
we just
too.
stop?
This guy. Goomba, how do you Goomba, how do you turn this guy off?
Oh gosh, Goober, yeah, Goober,
We're
can you
not
cut his service, please? Actually, no, we might need him. He knows thieves
There's a
can't.
moment of him kind of sitting there and looking around. You guys immediately just like stop hearing him, and then he just like. and so just like, well, yeah, I mean, not always, but he didn't get that much, so he can't hear you now.
Okay, well,
Whoa.
as much as I hate this guy, also though, like maybe he should.
Oh my god, make up
I mean,
your
we
mind.
can't we can't trust him, but like, I don't know, maybe we could like get him to do something stupid. I don't know.
Use him as the distraction or something?
Or one of you guys.
No, I'd rather it be him.
Because, well, me too. And I tried that, and thieves can't. If you guys know what that is, probably don't. But anyway, tried it. He just wants to make a bet. Maybe
That seems like he's what he's about.
why don't we just make a bet and then never do it?
Okay.
Like, lie.
Like a lie.
Okay.
Actually,
I'll try my best.
Okay,
Try and persuade him.
Actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, well, I guess we should decide what we want to happen, though. Because I don't think we should, like, do anything crazy, but we could, like, get something from in here and take back to our cell.
Yeah.
Put it in our underwear or whatever.
Your underwear.
I'm fine.
Ellie wakes like half.
Do you guys want to take a quick break? Or we good to keep checking for a little bit?
Oh.
I don't want to, like,
we're waiting. So.
Oh well, I mean we can keep going real quick, and then
Housekeeping.
You want me? Because I do want to take a break some point in our streams to like actually let us stretch our legs and pee and do whatever we
Oh
want.
yeah, that's fair.
do you want to do it now?
As soon as
before
we're
we
like
do
trying to
that?
get a plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's up to you guys. Yeah.
We could discuss the plan while we're on break.
I don't know if Steve will let us do that.
That's fine. You
Okay.
guys are cleaning, so you
And
can
I
sit
think,
down.
yeah, our
It
thoughts surely are going faster than it would be if we were to
Yeah.
keep talking.
But for the viewers at home, they might want to hear what you're
That's true.
scheming. So
That's fair.
do. Well, you're just gonna have to miss it. I'm just kidding.
We can also repeat it. Whatever.
yeah. So
Just
let's
really
say we'll
slowly
take just a quick break right now since we kind of
Alright.
have begun that
Already
anyways.
lost one.
And we'll probably start again in maybe like 10 minutes or something like that. So. First half going. We're back in it.
you guys are doing pretty well.
I kind of felt a slow start, but I was like,
Oh, I didn't tell
My
you
friend
guys
keeps
this.
reporting me eating stuff on the stream.
that's
I
cold,
did not
though.
tell you guys this, but while I was planning, I don't think I told you this. While I was planning this, I gave myself a nightmare. Like I had a nightmare that I was
I
like
can see
in.
that. This shit's
No,
In
no,
this thing.
It wasn't scary actually. It was like really exhilarating and fun. But I had a dream that like I was basically the DM, and it wasn't any of you in particular. It was just like some, dream person or whatever that I was with. But we were like in like these cells, and we were like running away and trying to hide from like guards and stuff. And I basically like had a book, and I was like telling them what was going on and stuff. But at the same time, I was like also hiding with them, and it was so intense and like
Wow.
creepy,
That's
but
interesting.
it came from just sitting here and being like reading about this crazy shit, and like the drow are
What are you
just
doing?
gnarly.
They're pretty gnarly, man. They're
So-
terrifying.
That's why I'm like,
I
I'm
read
not trying to
this-
make any, like, I'm just making the bed, like, I don't know what to do.
To me, it justifies all of the racist or even remotely
They're
racist
pretty-
characters. Like, not that racism is okay, but the
It's
drow
just like-
have earned a very. I mean, they have earned their reputation as being just complete assholes.
Yeah, my dad or Elwin's dad
Like,
is.
so good.
My dad.
Okay.
No, Elwin's dad is like honestly like one of like the golden like
Why can't there be
one of
more
a
drow?
kind.
Like, the guy with the mushroom? Oh my god.
The guy with the mushroom, the silent stoic type.
Sorry, the
I
guy
like
with
him.
Toad, or Uma.
Sarah?
Sarah.
Sarah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I need
yeah.
to go to the restroom, so.
Oh, here I'll let you out.
All I
Okay.
can do is think
If I
about
don't,
what to
then I
do
will
and
regret
for
it
every
later.
break.
I
I feel like I'm really
gonna go this-
chained. I need to figure it out.
The
So how's it going over here? Okay.
Yeah,
Alright, fine. I don't know if there's. Oh, maybe.
That's no worries.
keep-
I didn't
cover
see
this.
that.
It's just Jim Job.
Okay. I was like, I shouldn't have seen that.
Yeah, I was reading today. So about the drow societies, the females are the ones who would like court in a relationship, and so if two female drow are interested in a male drow, the male drow has like no say basically. And what will happen is if one of those female drows is like, okay, I've lost interest. I don't care about this guy.
No.
They will take the male drow, they will skin him, and then they will just throw him into like the bed chambers of the other drow to let them know like, I don't care about him anymore, he's all yours. So they're like, yeah, the drow are apparently, I mean they are.
So
Brutal.
me trying to seduce a female drow would be a
It
bad
would be
idea.
in their society, and your character might not necessarily know this, and you might
Yeah.
still attempt it, but
I don't think he's really like multiculturally knowledged.
yeah, they, for I believe for the male drow, if they were to make an attempt, it would be like not okay. Like perhaps they would be beaten or something like that. It's like know your place. So, yeah.
Yeah, you told me something about drow and how it works. I do remember having some that female from Driss.
Legitimate Driss.
Driss, not Driss.
I need to read those books.
I started reading the first one.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good. It's really good, actually.
We'll be right back, I swear.
I should go.
We can maybe open that door if you can, just for a few minutes.
Open the portal.
I would turn on my AC, but if my AC is running, it creates like this really distracting hum, kind of. So.
Oh, this is nice. Step out here for a second.
Chat is here if you're interested in reading it. I also, so among the other things that got stolen from me is the connector, and I think what I'm going to end up doing is putting my TV here, and then when we have time, I can just throw up chat there. And
It's really cool.
I don't know if I want that
That
distraction.
sucks though.
not while we play. I'd rather not be
Oh my gosh.
too distracted by that. If anything, just for me. It's already, like, I keep chat up there, but I'm not reading it because...
Yeah, I've been interacting while I've been waiting.
That's nice.
I noticed that.
I heard.
There was one comment, that's why I was laughing. Because he showed me it really quickly, I just when he said it, and that's why I was laughing the whole time. So I apologize.
If they said something terrible, it's probably two of my friends.
No.
And if they're flaming.
They were talking about the emo toad. And they were like, somebody was like, no, he lost it.
Yeah.
I ate all the cookies. Sorry. The negatoad is pretty hilarious.
Oh my gosh. A wasp? Nope.
The chat is
One of your friends said, well, we got called
called
out.
out. Yes. Call them
Jigglypuff
out.
says, well, we got called out. So,
Dude, those
Oh yeah, you're
cookies are
yeah. And which one am I from?
Wait, Steven. Whoop. Oh, never mind.
What?
I'm gonna get those cookies too.
Wow.
Those are good.
Enjoy the ambiance of
Yeah.
the Underdark.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
this is what we listen
Baby
to.
rolling, yeah.
In the distance, you
so
hear
that's where the
bunch
music,
of
that
police
music
coming
came
straight
from.
from the underground.
Oh my god.
I never even like really unironic.
I feel like that's probably what they would roll
Yeah.
on.
Just, I'd be like rolling around. Like,
Are you
he's like,
taking
"Guys,
all
I'm
of the
going."
cookies?
Well, I was just bringing them.
Just gonna transfer them?
My
Is that what you're
environmental
gonna do?
science professor at Belmont is like
I didn't actually even know what these were. I was like, oh, there's
They're pretty
It's
good.
got like the
Throughout,
cream
like,
on the
it's so-
outside.
Or on the inside, yeah, and the...
Well, like
That's
the jelly on
hilarious.
the inside, cream on the outside. On the inside of the outside.
So can we also...
On the outside of the
The
inside.
outside and inside.
Yeah.
And the cracker on the
Being
outside.
sassy.
And then
Or the
it's like
cookie.
Oreo on one side and then shortbread on the other.
These
Oh, yeah,
are Oreos
it's-
for rich people.
It's almost an Oreo.
These are rich people.
Yeah.
Put it on the cookie box and then it looked like.
Am I gonna pop off that box of Cheez-Its? Oh, invite Rachel and the gang to this stream.
I told them about it.
Well, tell them again. No, I'm just joking. If you
Okay,
told
fine.
them- if you told them, it's on them at this point.
They're gonna go back and watch that and hear you say that. And it'll
Guys,
be my
I'm
fault.
sorry. I
love
forgot.
Everybody
I forgot.
Get outside.
Pop it off of that Cheez-It box.
That feels so
Hey.
much better.
Oh my
Dylan.
god. It's so hot over here. Which Dylan?
Right?
It's getting
Yeah.
hot
It's
in
like,
here.
we're together.
So
Yeah.
well,
We gotta figure out what we're gonna do. We'll
kick ass.
we'll
Yeah.
figure- I'm really sorry about that. Dylan.
I'm guessing by the end
Dude,
of it,
Will's on.
all three of us will be.
Yeah,
I said that
I-
Haskins week.
Yeah, I said earlier, I was like, hey, Haskin, hey, Will, Haskin says hi. He said, Haskin
Don't
is
tell Steven, can I open these?
I brought them. So
Oh!
Because the last thing I brought, I forgot to mention that I had brought
Oh yeah, the salsa. Did you leave it or
the
did
chips
you
and
take it?
salsa. I left it.
You wanna dip these
I
in
think it's
salsa?
gone.
He said,
think he said
no,
it
he
was,
said it was still here, and I got excited, which is why I was the
I
first
didn't
one
hear Will said, but I did hear, don't tell Steven.
Will would like to reiterate, Haskin is weak. In all
Go
caps.
tell the DM.
Okay, Will, shut up. We'll wait for the response.
Long pause.
What?
It's
Okay, I was trying to hear what
Sorry,
you said, so
watching.
that was directed towards me.
Yes.
Hey, these Cheez-Its are good. I mean,
I mean, like,
As
I mean,
opposed
they're
to
wow,
cute.
pal. Thanks.
Sorry.
Like goldfish.
Goldfish.
Jesus.
Sponsored by
Check out-
Goldfish.
Made by
Our-
Sunshine.
Yeah,
Oh my
Sunshine
God, is it?
Cheez-Its.
Okay.
Does anyone know
Isn't
anything
it
else that
barless
Sunshine makes?
bag?
I know.
I know.
there's
They're-
so
yeah,
much
I
goldfish
mean,
in there.
They make these little granola bars that are actually super delicious.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're like kind of chewy and
Are they? They're not Cliff Bars, are they?
they're sun kissed.
I'm tempted.
Is that the name of the company? What is
Well,
it?
Sunkissed is the soda.
No. But there's like a
Honestly,
cereal bar that has a
ones,
similar name.
There would be no, like, yeah. I mean, the pizza.
Good one, man. Fuck you.
I'm gonna. Oh yeah, shoot! Of all the things.
Why?
So one of the things I forgot to do was put our panels together down below. But what I'm gonna do is throw this up in chat. An invite
Peskin
to our
confirmed. You did.
Discord server.
Discord.
We have Discord. If you guys want to
Discord.
keep up with us, that's going to be the best place where I feel like it's like
It's
80%
easy.
me, just like
Sorry.
geeking out over a Critical
You're such a
Role.
bard.
But if you guys want to join us at our Discord, we'll have announcements and
I'm just
talk
hating
to
on Dak. I don't know why.
talk to us and
Tim
hang out.
doesn't- he's already
throughout the rest of the
annoying
week
to
when
me.
we're
I don't
not
know.
streaming.
I love
To
him.
anyway.
It's so
I mean,
funny though.
if I met him, I'd probably hate him.
Yeah.
But I like what he writes. So.
Yeah.
So you're like a fanboy of Edgar Allan Poe.
Of his
Oh.
work, yes.
So you're an Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah.
Edgar
Yeah.
Allan Poe's.
I think Edgar Allan Poe's are a little bit better than Cumber bitches. So
That's what I was going to mention next.
What's your favorite Poe story?
Oh, that's
short
hard.
story.
Yeah. Name one of his albums.
Dude, I love
Oh,
Yeah, what's your favorite?
What's
I was a big fan of Master of Puppets.
Well, technically, this is just the SweetRoll channel, but I do have another channel for my
Hold on.
other Twitch
I need to think.
thing, and I mean, technically, we could use it, but I don't know why we use Lotus.
I like Cask of Amontillado a lot.
That's
Yeah.
just
Oh my
what we
God.
use.
Amontillado is one of my favorites.
But
I'm
I
not
just
read
threw
all
up
of
the
The
link
Black
if you
Cat I
guys
really like
want
too,
to join
though.
us over at the
Oh,
Discord.
the pendulum is
You
my
should do
favorite.
so. And
It's the only
come
one that-
nerd out with me over Critical Role if you watch it, because
Yeah, it's happy.
That's
it's so
Who
good.
wrote this?
rare for Poe? Considering his
so
life.
good.
Because it wasn't Poe.
Oh.
Has happy ending. Where's the tuberculosis?
Oh my gosh, it's so true.
Have y'all seen the Edgar Allan Poe short story like animation on Netflix?
Did I tell you about that one time someone in my film class actually, we all had to do an assignment to present it,
Mhm.
and someone in my film class presented it, and I was the only other person who knew what it was, and I was like, you know about this too? That's amazing. Not that it's that
Now
surprising, it
you're
was on
not sure,
Netflix.
maybe.
And I guess
We're
if you're bored and
mixing-
just
It's a
searching through
smorgasbord.
stuff, like,
You gotta keep
It is
them
probably
separated.
Separated,
not-
Dylan. It's
No.
all the good
so I guess
stuff.
it's not that
This is
much
called
of a
segregation.
coincidence, but
Hey.
still.
And this is
The
this is
unity of our
unity.
side.
Okay,
Separate
I'm
but
just like,
equal.
not
Unity.
segregating snacks. It's not happening.
Dude,
Equal
no,
snacks.
this is the Cheez-Its couch.
That's awful.
It's ours.
oh
You guys can keep your gold.
better together.
That delivery. Oh. Better together.
Oh,
Do you mind if I partake?
I have a dream.
May I?
It's just
May I
gross,
eat
man.
the
Oh,
forbidden
okay.
fruit?
Okay, let's not go crazy.
Are you betraying the Sunshine Cheez-Its cause?
Listen, I'm an open-minded member of our coalition.
You're a weak-willed member of our coalition.
100% real cheese.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
These cheeses.
Better together.
Better together.
I hate this. The cheese and goldfish
Oh
wars.
my god.
Made with
Our camera's better. We got
That's all
Cheez-Its.
the
I mean,
cheese.
it's
thiamine mononitrate.
We have a couch
Please
here.
suck a dick.
Oh. He's
Maybe-
not even
Ooh,
here, and he's just
skim
like, what?
milk.
I know.
Oh no, actually, it's well. I don't know about like baking stuff, but skim milk I actually prefer.
Oh.
Like with cereal.
Well, then let me change my tone. With skim milk.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
As white
And
as
yellow
skim
dye
milk.
6 and 5.
I just want to show off my T-shirt
What's
You
again.
don't
wrong?
even know the
Fine.
ingredients,
Delicious.
please.
Yeah.
I want someone to walk by and like us to make like a really sweet roll, and then they just
A
like they're
sweet
walking
roll.
by and they just hear Nat 20.
Yeah.
Like, alright.
They're just gonna hear.
That's the best voice
Yeah, I
ever.
don't know how
It's
to
like
say
Mrs.
it.
Doubtfire
Just
mixed
think
with
it.
like, I don't know.
Are you inside my
Man,
head?
I wish I was into D&D when I was 20
I
and
can't
I would
even
have had a
get that
Nat 20 birthday party.
That would have been great.
Think about how good that would have been.
Why
Look,
would
that's a
you
great
do that?
I
idea.
don't know.
That is a good
Who
idea.
cares about 21 and drinking
Seriously.
alcohol, man?
Nat 20 birthday.
Yours
This
is
is gonna be a good
Charles.
Yours are coming up, man.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Yours
damn it.
is coming up,
That's right.
Yeah, but yours is coming up sooner. And that's
dude.
Well, now we all know that she's older than you.
Yeah, go through it once. Almost
The mystery.
And then
is-
y'all
Why
are
would
all older
you
than
divulge
us.
that information? That is critical information.
You
Can I
have
switch over to
disadvantage on
Jennifer?
your
Could you like,
Something else.
God damn it! Why did you do this?
like,
Damn it, now I can't
so like Nick Offerman? I don't know.
Okay.
You're in
His
prison forever.
laughter is.
I decided not to work with you anymore.
He marches. and
Wait, what
comes
happened to
back.
Izzy? We were all dragged out. Where's
is
Izzy?
Izzy with us?
And Izzy.
He's. There was a number
I mean,
of
she can't
prisoners
clean.
that were left
Yeah, I
behind
don't know that
themselves,
they
so
were
he's.
cleaning.
Whoa,
she's
that
with
is
them.
a
Izzy's
cheesy
crying in there.
That is a
Bear's
really
crying.
cheesy cheese whip.
Yeah.
Man, what? That's just that's a really grisly fate.
Is this actually?
Oh my.
Disadvantage.
Sorry.
I wish I
I
could
can't.
high five you, but you're too far away.
Sorry,
He
Dylan.
didn't even catch that. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Okay. Never mind.
Holy
was
crap.
just-
As he's pouring. Yes.
I was just trying to.
My God, straight guy to that.
All right.
He's not sure if he can bear the pain of that
Oh
one.
my God. I just knocked the
Let's-
cookies over.
Why doesn't she get to say it now?
I didn't hear it, so
It's a
You-
show
you lucked out.
rules.
actually I love puns, so but yeah,
Yours
it's a
was better.
punishment.
That was really.
It was punny.
It was good.
Ah.
Everybody can.
Okay.
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 So back to cleaning Yorland's barracks. You guys were, I think, just in the
Thinking
middle
in our
of
heads.
That's my
plotting as you want
Make
to
up a bed.
to
Make up a bed.
stab Jim Jar in the back. Or something.
As a gnome, like these are like
Oh.
as long as my arms are. I don't know.
So,
You're like a T-Rex. Sorry.
Sorry. Yes.
so what do you guys? I mean, should I?
We're thinking this stuff.
I guess we can
that
go out.
we're-
I mean, I think we shouldn't do any. We should do something that if we fail, maybe we won't get killed.
That's fair.
Is that a fair?
I-
Or at least only one of us, and preferably one of us who matters less. So either you guys or Jim Jar or the mushroom thing.
Or what about you?
Mushroom is a great Toad or Goomba stays. Goomba stays because he's our way of communicating.
That's true. You got a point.
Well,
We
this
do
is
that.
your idea, so.
That is true.
I
Do
think
you guys
we-
not want to do this?
No, I think we should make a bet
At
in
some
line.
point, you find yourself just thinking in your head, and you're like, wait, why is nobody responding to me? And you guys now hear, I'd rather not be the one to die.
Aw.
I'm with
If
Goomba.
he's going to plan to do that, then.
Yeah, we're not doing that, so.
We're not.
Yeah.
And I'm just like angrily, like my eyes darting back and
You
forth.
guys see like a small thing of like spores kind of puff out from this thing, and you
Oh,
can
I'm
now
allergic to
you
spores.
find yourself hearing them talking once again.
I say, okay, I see how we're playing this. We're not going to do anything to hurt you, Goomba, because we need you for this. So I'm sorry if I have any comments.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the heck.
But do you guys want to do this?
Yes, I think I liked your idea about lying to. Yes, as I dust. I liked your idea about how we should lie.
I'm kicking stuff under beds.
Lie to, Jim Jar over here.
Get him to do something. And then I, whoever is well with their and quick with their hands, will just go through something and try to like look through one of these chests. I mean, I guess we don't know if they're locked. Are there locks on them?
That's a great
Make
question.
a perception check.
Can I roll for that too?
How does that work?
It's
Is it
not
with
for
dots?
that.
What? Is it not? Oh my gosh.
Saved
I
by
was
the
bound to
wrong guy.
Ooh, that's much better.
12.
That is more than this one.
This
cost.
is not. Steven, I
18.
don't know what is going on.
You notice, Owen, that there are locks on the chests themselves. You're familiar enough with locks to, I mean, obviously you see them there, but you can tell that there are, maybe some of them look locked, but you can tell that some of them have just that small, like, sliver of an opening that you know they're not really, like...
Right, somebody just threw it on there and left. Okay, so I tell them that. I notice that, and I say, so if we can somehow get this guard just out of here for a second, open these for 20 seconds top, grab whatever we know we can fit that would be useful, and then shut up and keep cleaning.
So as you're having that conversation, Yorlan steps up again. Prisoner, while you're working on that bed, why don't you move it over to that corner over there for me?
All right, I love moving beds. Anything for you, man.
Just do
You're-
it.
You're
And I do it.
You get like 75% of the way of like moving this bed. It's a fairly heavy bed, but I mean it's not so much that you can't move it. But you get about 75% of the way there, and he's like, actually, I changed my mind to put it back.
Okay, this guy's a dick.
He's a
Put it-
slave keeper.
put it
Like,
back
what
to
do
me.
you?
Alright.
whips you again. Or whip
I-
Well, I thought
um,
that. I didn't say it.
I
clarify.
hide my emotion and just look at him and smile and think to myself, so maybe we should while moving the bed back, we should let, oh gosh, Jim John, what's that name? Let him back into this communication and tell him that we bet he can't get the guard to leave. I don't know. Whatever you guys think.
Bet you can't. Bet 5 coins.
Okay. At this
I guess
point,
that
you
works.
see another small like bit of spores that enter into the air, and
Tripping balls.
you guys are assholes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So what's
I
the plan?
chuckle.
I tell him we were deciding whether we trusted you or not. We decided that you seem trustworthy and we like you very much. And you seem,
Oh,
and I'm sorry
quit
for
the
trying to
bullshit.
kick you.
No. No, I think we took our time and we thought your character was good enough to trust. And
I said quit the bullshit.
no, I'm being
I'm just
completely
sweeping with
honest.
it like a really giant
As she
room.
grabs
Like,
her D20
Ugh.
for what I imagine is deception.
Wait, what are you doing?
I said
I just rolled and I got a 20
I'm
for
sorry.
for persuasion. I was trying to persuade him that
I don't think there's.
it's okay.
To be honest, he doesn't care enough to whether
Okay.
you're even telling the truth or not. He's
I'm gonna
just
play into
Yeah, this
the
guy
stuff.
doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
he's just having some fun.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
glasses aren't
He's
on,
just like
so
a bored guy. He's
so-
we wanted to make a bet with you.
What's the bet?
We need to get this guy out of here.
So what's the bet?
And I look,
I will give you all of my gold when we leave here that's in my pack. And it's a lot.
Roll a deception check.
holy
That,
crap.
that might be true, though. Ooh, that's a 19. Yeah.
That was a 19?
Wait, is that a, no, it's 16.
Oh,
but
well,
with
that's
deception,
still
which
good,
is
dude.
plus 5, so 21.
Oh, 21.
All of it, you say.
All of it. It's yours. If it's my dying,
Oh,
it's
he's
my dying wish.
Bet.
dying.
Bet.
Oh.
What the
Wager.
Wager, that's a good one.
I promise.
All your gold,
I promise. On my father's grave.
all your gold to get him out of this room.
Just out for, a minute.
Dude, that's a steal.
That
I'm
is
gonna find out you're,
steal.
like,
You know what?
actually-
For a full minute.
Let's say.
As long as a minute or longer.
Let's say
If
as long as you can do without coming any harm to yourself. We don't want this. We don't want you to. We just want him to have to not be here.
you make him go away for
He
a little bit.
he kind of eyes the chest that you guys have. I mean, they're very obviously in here. How about this? You succeed on grabbing something out of there, and you pay me if I get him out of here long enough for you to do it.
So you're
I just
saying
continue to sweep. I'm like,
if I can get something
whatever.
out of this chest, then you'll make him leave.
What I'm saying is, I can't guarantee a minute, but I can try to help you get something out of that chest.
Okay.
A minute is a long time in terms of like.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yeah. It's a
Attainable
long
goal
time.
plan.
We'll start. It's like
Negotiation,
wagering.
yeah.
You start big and then
Yeah, yeah,
So okay. Honestly, any time that you can give me.
Wow.
Wow, I really dropped the ball.
Haggling.
That was haggling. No,
How do we
okay, anything.
We
You got
need your
This is
time.
the art of the
yeah.
deal.
Everybody, roll another performance check.
I've read, yeah.
This is just,
Performance.
I'm not
check.
liking my.
Please.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Oh.
You said performance?
Yep.
11.
13? That's, yeah. Or, sorry, 23. Oh my gosh. I rolled a 16 plus, yeah. 23.
11.
2 11s.
I'm trying.
Um,
I'm like the only one working.
You're just tuning out the mushroom.
Mushroom!
Meant to live.
It sounded like Randy from Soda sopa.
Oh,
No, soda sopa.
Those sunshine
Actually, now they are because there's spaces.
So you guys,
Thank you, Lacey.
as you continue to clean, I mean, it was already cleaned sort of from the last round, but you end up doing a pretty decent job
Oh,
this time as well. It's starting to look a little, squeaky. And as you guys are continuing to plot, Yorlin kind of steps forward again. It's starting to look much better in here, prisoners.
Thank you, your lead.
Keep clean.
All right.
Okay.
And move that bed back over there.
As you wish. And I start moving it.
So as you guys get back into your
My head.
as you guys start cleaning again, you see Jim Jar kind of get a little bit shifty, and then, hey, fuck you!
Oh, Jesus
And
Christ!
just punches you
Me?
right, yeah, just square into the face, like.
Wow.
Dorlin, did you hear what she was saying about your mother?
Oh,
You would be disgusted, sir.
Elwyn.
I'm just like, the fuck?
Settle down, fucking prisoners. Starts to plot his whip.
Oh my god.
Ah! He just socks you again in the face. At this point, you've taken. He's pulling his punches a little bit, but he's still punching right in the face. Yeah. You-
In fairness, you have discussed
Sorry.
mutilating him. So you can get whatever he has.
My mouth
you
drops.
take
and
1
I think
point of
I'm like,
bludgeoning damage
damn.
Okay.
Talking's one thing.
Well,
as Yorlin just whoosh, right against the back of Jim Jar this time.
As
Alright,
long as it's
prisoners,
not you.
it looks like you might need another demonstration of how we run our outpost here.
Oh shit.
Looks like someone's not getting there. I think
I-
looks like someone's not getting their
I'm just
goal.
like hold my face, like still trying to
I'm trying to make the
trying to
bed.
clean. Like, don't throw me in the spider den, please.
He looks at some of the Quaggas who have now just like peeking in and trying to see what's going on. Grab whatever prisoners were in the cell, bring them over here. You two, you come with me. On your knees.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Dick.
I'm
Quaggas.
thinking to myself, this is
And then
not
just
what
like,
I had in mind.
As the
better
Quaggas
hurry.
go,
And I think to
opening up
myself,
the cell, you see the chain gang of whatever prisoners were left in that cell. As he just, I mean, I'm sorry, but it's a little merciless with just flogging the two of you in front of everybody, and he is indeed outside of this.
Okay.
This thing.
I check.
TikTok.
I check the nearest.
I start looking immediately. for the
chest that I
drawers.
know is unlocked
Okay.
and rummage through it.
I just grab whatever.
I'm gonna look for, try to figure out what's in it. And,
As fast. I'm doing the same, but quickly. You know.
So each of you roll a sleight of hand check with advantage.
5. Well, that's not
Ah, and then my sleight of hand is
22.
nice.
Oh, this is worth it.
25.
Ooh.
Okay.
We're doing well, man.
Yeah, that's some genuine
Quite the
themes
team.
in there.
And you're doing
I'm
real
so
good out
happy.
there.
Yeah.
The Christ figure, if you will.
Thank
Oh
you
my
for our
God.
scapegoat.
More like
She is the religious
can, am
superpower.
Yeah. She's our scapegoat.
So
Literally.
um,
I'm so sorry.
Whatever.
this display that is going on is enough time for you guys to get a good look into the chests that are there. There are crossbow bolts. There's a hand crossbow. You see like chain shirts and different bits of chain armor.
Proficient.
There's a large silk rope with like a little grappling hook on the end of it. There are flasks of who knows what, some solution in there. And you see some
I'm gonna die.
clothing and a couple gold pieces and different things, but What would you like to do?
I'm gonna try and hide the chain mail and under, I guess, whatever.
Bad idea.
I want
Now
I
the
don't
clothes
say
that
that
we're
'cause I'm
wearing
getting beat up, but-
what are this is such
It's
a
just like
stupid
undergarments.
question. What's
It's
our
just like,
sleeve length,
Uh,
if you will?
Are we like?
probably
Learn a cable
about
guy
down to
or-
like
Okay.
here, something
Okay.
like that. You know,
Okay.
a little bit baggy.
And there's the hand crossbow, and there's bolts. You said as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I am proficient in that, so. But man, if I can just kill someone from my cell, what is that?
Pew!
I guess.
Got him.
Yeah, I got him. 10 points.
Wait, did
Knocked
you
on the
say,
wall.
were there any, like, you didn't say daggers or anything, it's just a hand crossbow. Well, okay.
Not that helpful.
I'm gonna take a solution,
Okay, the bottle that.
and, what else other than the chainmail and the hand crossbow?
Um,
Pieces.
bolts.
and
There's like a
grappling
long grappling hook, and some coin and stuff.
I guess you can have the coin.
Well, yeah, I definitely grabbed the coin.
You definitely-
The one coin.
Hold it, yeah, between my cheeks.
And then,
Oh my god.
I mean, yeah.
Immediately.
But it has some like pretty solid glutes. You gotta like hold that. You gotta hold
You
that
stack
flex for
three
a while.
gold pieces is what you find. In there.
wow, better clinch tight, bro.
Can't quit the bounty there, bud.
And then,
So you can just put that you have a drow flask.
And,
A drop
and
flash.
are you saying that there's probably time for us to grab like one of these things?
I'm saying you've got time to take what you want.
What we want, but it's whether we can sneak with it. Or
Right,
not.
that's kind of the
Okay.
question. Is you're looking at? I mean, there's
Down
a
the
lot of stuff
chainmail
in here,
fight
but for you
wolves.
to walk
Right.
back to your pen
that-
with chainmail and a
Right.
crossbow. And
Now,
stuff, it's
you said it
Yeah,
was a
seems
hand
legit.
crossbow, so how
40
large?
gonna-
that's
I
smaller.
mean, it's a good question, but
That's,
I would
hand
say
crossbows are smaller.
yeah,
Just,
it's probably
some
about this big.
Okay, that's pretty big.
It's probably about the length of a bolt and then a little bit extra.
Would that be under sleight of hand or stealth to sneak that out?
It'll be a sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand?
Depending, yeah.
We both have pretty high sleight of hand, so.
What
You're
are you trying
like
to
a
But
pregnant
there's also some
man pregnant.
there's
We're
some
both-
limitations.
My man
like,
child.
Right.
You tried to wear out the
Chainmail.
armor. That,
That's
You
not
don't
that's
even
sleight
really-
of body.
in fact, it takes time. It takes like I think several minutes at least to actually put on.
Yeah.
Chainmail
armor.
takes a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
to put on.
I thought it was like chainmail like shirts. It's literally just like you slip into it, but with like actual like armor, like plate armor, you have to like sew it shut.
It's-
But even if
Yeah.
we
You
had
just
on,
right click it. And
It's
it-
You-
like,
You just equip?
Wait,
So you guys are like sitting in there, like
click it.
armor comes on. Off.
I put it in my inventory.
Yeah, seriously. You just reach out and like disappear. You're like, all right, we're good.
I put it in my inventory and I save.
And I say,
Quick save, quick save.
Did I
Yeah.
save?
So you guys
11th
have about
time.
Okay.
10 seconds to figure out what
Okay,
to take
I'm
for
gonna take
this
the bolts
eating
then,
happen.
because it's the bolts to the.
There's 20 bolts. How many are you taking? All of them?
You wanna take half?
Oh, 10?
Yeah.
I feel like that when we take, I'm taking 2.
You're taking 2.
You can.
So wait, it's like a crossbow.
Yes, I'm taking.
Yeah, these are crossbow bolts.
I'm taking.
I mean, you can at least. I don't know how you want to do
I'm
that.
taking
Like,
5. I'm
if we
taking.
were to want to use a crossbow bolt just as a melee weapon, like there'd be some.
I mean, you can. I mean, it's a crossbow bolt. You
I'm
can
taking
stack
5
it.
bolts.
I'm taking gold
And the 2 bolts.
and you said this is okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
mean,
you've
anything
taken
else,
the-
like we're totally gonna get caught.
Yeah. I'm gonna take 5 bolts.
You took the flask and just
It's 5 bolts.
stuffing them. Okay, each of you roll a slide check.
Whoa.
Whoa, 19 again.
6.
Oh, plus
14.
plus 6. So 25.
Nice. Okay, you guys do a pretty good job. It's maybe a little bit more cumbersome to like bend your arm because now you've got like
Alright.
Pointy.
a bolt there, but I mean, you especially have a pretty simple time getting these things tough to get. You're pretty used to it, and you don't have that much to. Well, the 5 bolts are kind of a lot, but you manage up the
You got a
pant
good-
legs and
got a
things
good
like
roll.
that. So meanwhile, you guys end up getting flogged for a moment, and then the prisoners are brought back to the cell by the Quagos, and Yorlin heads back in, and well, back to cleaning.
Right away, sir. And
Right, did he bring us back in? I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
missed that.
so you guys
Okay.
are back in there. I would say from the flogging itself, you've probably taken about 5 points of slashing damage to both you and Jim Jar as well, who's now bleeding and kind of like
At least I'm getting paid.
And I'm like, Jim Jar, my dude.
got him.
Got
That
him.
was. Yeah.
These are super bloody.
You owe me some gold at some point.
I do. As soon as I get out of here. It's all yours.
We
I'll
got
keep you to it.
I hope he's not like.
You better.
I hope his dad isn't rich or something.
Give him the butt.
Yeah.
Give him the Bitcoin.
All right, here they are.
They are.
Oh yeah, I want it to be somewhat canon that the coins are firmly clenched between my cheeks at all times.
Who's gonna
Alright.
steal them
I'm just
from
like,
here?
Yeah, you just
This is
kinda,
why we call him booty.
And it's clear.
This is why we call it
they don't
booty.
call it a coin purse for nothing.
No.
All right.
Sorry.
Oh my god. Oh my god. There's so many things. Okay.
Oh boy, and you can tell I've done.
Yes.
I'm
You
a little
guys,
nudgy.
you guys end up cleaning up a little bit more, spending a little more time before you see one of the drow comes walking in, somebody other than Yorlin, carrying the chamber pot from the from the slave pen.
chamber pot.
Hey Yorlin, it's looking pretty clean in here, and just dumps like
Do it.
shit and piss all over the floor, and
And
you
a
hear.
little bit of Ellen Bone.
You see Yorlin just kind of like,
I don't know what I expected.
Yeah, I'm not
Sure.
surprised.
why would you dump this shit in my room? And the other drow, well, that's right. This is your room now, isn't it? Rest assured, Yorlin, I'm taking good care of your old room. Well, I would anyways if I wasn't spending so much time in Uvaris. And he just walks off. Yorlin just like,
Oh shit. Uvara's the
well,
leader.
clean this shit up. Talking to you guys now.
Roger
Starts
that.
cleaning the shit, I guess.
Starts
Um,
cleaning the
And
shit.
I say, wow,
As
they're
limpy
kind of
as
a
I
dick
am.
to you, huh?
Jesus. Whips you.
Nothing like being reminded of your social position by a slave.
Yeah.
You guys spend maybe
Like, damn.
5 minutes working on this. Everybody roll a perception check.
Got it.
12.
14.
Oh,
Yeah, 14.
that one.
Ooh.
False. Rough day for Eliwick.
So
Or night, I don't
You-
know.
don't pick up much, but you can tell that. So Yorlin is pissed.
No, you don't say.
But
And shit
there's
in his room.
there's an element of certainly something beyond just being like mad and like this, you know. He's pissed about something other than the shit that was just dropped in his bedroom, which is, you know,
That's a lot.
That says something.
It's
Yeah.
clear. I
That's
mean,
kind of shitty.
You just got shit dumped in your room, and it seems like his mind is actually on something else. So,
Wow.
but anyways, you guys clean for a little bit,
Shit life.
and then
Shit like that.
27 is like,
minutes worth.
just get the fuck out of here. And at this point, several of the Quaggas come in. Those are these big, white, bear-like things. Come in and begin escorting you back, chaining you back up, and bringing you to the slave pen before you can actually even finish. The room that you're leaving now is messier than the one he had you cleaning over and over and over again.
Oh man.
Oh, it's slave work.
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile.
In movie B.
so the rest of whoever wasn't there, Heskin, Ervin, and then Frogman, Fishman, and Emo Drow. You guys are initially escorted by a male Drow to
Hopefully you have a better time than I did.
to what appears to be like an eating area, and there is areas to cook, and you see a couple Drow warriors that are in here just kind of munching down on some food. And as you enter in, you see a it's a visual reference. You see a female Drow, and actually, you recognize this as the same woman who you had seen at Wayback Okay.
Oh no.
Vendetta. Should be at least.
And she's just kind of almost like expecting you to arrive there. And as this drow walks in, it's actually the female drow who addresses you and. Okay, prisoners. You're gonna cook some food today. You can get started.
What would you like?
I'm not gonna eat the filth that you make. This is for you and your hungry friends. So you guys see
Yeah.
just tables and things that are set up, and you see one area that's dedicated to cooking. There is a brazier for heating up food. There are all kinds of like fungus and different things that they seem edible. It's not like there's anything necessarily strange about them. There are like other fruits and some like dried meats and different things. It's not the best food that you've ever seen, but it's okay. I mean, it's the drow themselves are eating it, so they at least try to get something good for themselves.
Does any of it look poisonous and or hazardous?
Roll a perception.
An awareness check?
An insight into food check.
Yeah, see, it's because you said it. I got 4.
It's definitely not like your
Asking.
innate. I mean, some of the food is like familiar, right? There's some like dried fruits and some dried meats and stuff, but a lot of it is pretty unfamiliar to you and the types of things that you would eat in the past.
Okay. Are there? So we're like in the kitchen area. Kind
Yeah,
of?
it's all one open room. There's not like
Okay.
a separate kitchen, but
So they can
basically-
see us as we're like.
Yeah, there's like tables, and then what do they call it? It's like a galley, basically. You know, the wall has like a counter with like the stove next to it, and like different supplies that are kind of just piled up and put into sacks and stuff.
Right. So, are there any like knives or anything for food prep?
Good question.
Am I gonna cut an apple with my fingers?
You just like
Just
yeah.
karate chop.
Use the force.
Roll a perception check.
Oh my god, where'd my d20?
It's behind your page.
if you use your
In the
secret
left.
jutsu to like hit the apple and just that spot, it just collapses into like 6 even pieces. You gotta like hit like
17.
Yeah, there's some knives that are sort of just lined up.
How many people are in the room right now? There's the drow woman, there's the guy who put us in there, and then...
There are 4 drow that are sitting at a table just eating, and they're not really paying much attention to you. There is Mr. Salvara, who is just watching you guys right now, sort of just like bored. And then this drow who escorted you over here. And then outside of where you guys are at is the lift where you had come up. So in relation to where you all just were, there is this hanging tower that's outside, kind of across the way from where you're at.
There's a cave.
So you guys are like in this room, right? This kitchen area. If you were to step out, you're on this big open, flat platform, like the cavern ledge, and that's where you first came up from the lift. And then there's a giant stalactite where the rest of them had gone in as a barracks. There's actually a second stalactite nearby as well.
jump.
So,
yeah.
so I go over and I pick up one of the knives and relegate myself to prep work. So
Yeah.
so
As soon as
chopping away.
you pick up that knife, you see like, yeah, not today, prisoner.
Stab him, you won't.
No balls.
She
You won't.
she proceeds to grab all of the knives. Like you can see her
Resettle.
face. Like I would not fucking hide these. She.
How do you expect me to prep food without a
Plastic
knife?
knives?
You'll figure it
So I just start smashing like fruits
out.
against the counter.
And as you start grabbing some of these fruits, she's like, not the fresh fruit, prisoner. You can take that over there. and you see a pile of just molded over, like, disgusting food.
Great.
Oh,
I just
what a bee.
How am I supposed to enjoy this goldfish with that in mind?
Right.
Yeah, these are not Cheez-Its, because if they were, they would be
Aged and perfected.
They would be great.
Sunshine brand cheese.
and better with
the
gold.
Cheez-Its are for the drow warriors. You guys get the goldfish.
What?
Are you trying to say that these goldfish aren't good enough for you?
I'll be honest. I think consistently goldfish are going to be better than Cheez-Its.
You're wrong.
Because you get a batch of overcooked Cheez-Its sometimes, but rarely.
Okay, that's fair. But like, I feel like the overcooked Cheez-Its are relatively rare in like the boxes. Like, I'll run into a couple in
It's
the
true.
box and be
And
like,
they'll send you a new box.
Oh, it's really
Sure.
nice.
Yeah, you just be like, hey, these aren't good.
But I think
But
the
that's
true
not the case
answer
here.
is better together.
Okay.
That's right.
Moldy food.
Oh my
So there's fruit. What else is there?
There's like different types of like fungus and mushrooms and things like that, and then some like dried out meats and things.
See if any of the mushrooms talk.
Yeah, I'm looking up mushroom people.
I would not know.
Sure, you guys don't know about that yet.
I
We don't know if he does know about the magical mystery mushroom.
So
What about other utensils?
Spoon.
what are?
There's like bowls,
Got him a guy
and some like
I was about to say.
things like that, but no, there's not really much.
I'm going to take a bowl and start putting some food in it.
And there is, like I said, there's a brazier that has like boiling water in it. So your fellow prisoners, the drow is very like begrudging about anything. He's just kind of like moving food around but not trying to cook anything. And then this fish-like creature is actually just seems pretty peaceful, just kind of putting together some like moldy food and like gathering up some hot water into like a little stew and like
Maybe he should cook.
Yeah.
everybody roll a
I don't know.
I busted a cook a soup
Cheek
plate.
clench check.
Probably
Cheek clench.
survival check.
Survival.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Nat 20.
Wow.
16.
Nice.
And I get nat ones.
I know, I've been getting that ones.
It's okay. This will be the
So-
only one for like the next 8 meets.
You guys actually like you managed to kind of as you're working like pick through some of like the actual moldy food and find some like hidden gems of different things. As you're putting it together, you actually like it almost starts to smell like kind of decent. It's very faint, but I mean you're making a pretty mean stew.
Yes!
And as you do, Elvira steps forward and just
Oh no.
You don't get good things.
Yeah.
You're a slave.
knocks it all over the floor.
She's gonna die.
Looks
That's
like
not
you're gonna have to
she's
start
gonna-
all over.
Good hand. Keep it strong.
Isn't that a shame?
Man, I wish I was with her.
She now proceeds to go and you see the drow that she's with is sort of like chatting her up, and they're being very like kind of
Hey.
Mean
Yeah.
girls. Oh my god.
they're being a little cozy with one another.
That's the one who poured the shit.
just kind of
They
whispering
don't know
to each
that.
other, not necessarily anything that you can pick up per se. Hang on.
So we can't hear anything they're saying.
You could roll
You could try.
a can I hear them check if you'd like.
Huskin, what do your dragonborn ears
Here's here. Actually, they're supposed to be really good. Why is he the most oblivious character ever?
It's really funny.
I know. 13. Give me anything.
So you hear them. You hear the male drow kind of asking like so what time do you want to meet later? And then you hear them.
I hate
You
them.
hear Yorlin get mentioned a few times and like some snickering.
What a
Love
bitch.
triangle? Question mark.
Hold on.
That's it.
Wait, it's that picture from It's Always Sunny, and he's like got the lines everywhere. Trying to figure it out.
So Elvara and this other captor are okay.
Doing the do.
They are definitely doing
Yeah,
it.
it seems like they're making some plan to meet with each other, and then you hear the name Yorlan get brought up with some sniffling.
Oh my god.
They framed the guy with
Totally.
Can anyone hear me?
It's all
Oh, well, like how far away are they? Or I guess other
Probably
hostiles.
about 10 feet or something like that. I mean, you could,
I'm not opposed.
with how distracted they are talking, you could reasonably whisper to somebody.
Can I relay that to Aravan? What you just told me?
Yeah.
Like the information.
You guys can kind of telephone this information down the line.
By the end of it, it's like completely
Yeah.
different.
It's just completely different.
She did what?
Oh my god. You don't have the mushroom like stuff going on.
I know. If you guys
Yeah.
don't, you didn't win.
Well,
All we do
that.
is win. Oh no, you really did win.
Yeah, sorry about that.
And
I
Yurland
would've
is
taken that
the
for you,
mangled
but-
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly.
Right, is it Yurland?
Yorland. It's
Yorland.
like
Is it Yurland like in Skyrim?
It is like, what is his last name?
Greyman.
Greyman.
Yeah, Greyman. It's like
Roland
Yorland.
Greyman.
Sorry.
Does he talk like him too?
Well,
I
you've taught.
I feel like they do
Yeah.
kind of sound like.
Yorland
He
is
kind
like
of
the
sounded a
son of
little bit, but I
Smith of
wasn't
the
sure if his
Skyforge,
name was
right?
Yurland. So
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Skyforge.
I did actually. It clicked with me, but only after I had seen the name a few times, and then I was like, "Oh crap!" Like, because I thought the accent of like, I don't know, Velkynvelve, and I was like, "Oh, these are kind of Skyrim-y," and then I was like, "Oh shit, his name is Yorland too." Like,
Yeah.
It's a good
You
name.
have to.
So,
Start looking for more good pieces in the food.
yeah, I think Heskin's going to follow.
yep.
And
Okay.
do the same.
Roll another performance.
You mean
Survival.
survival?
Survival. Yeah.
did you
You're
mean
trying to make a
survival?
food that won't kill you with what you have available.
13.
Same.
Oh, hey! Hey!
That's
I'm
it.
sorry, Dylan.
That's worthy of worthy of
So as you guys are working, you see the drow that's been talking to Elvara leaves. Actually, I guess within this time frame. At this time, what you see is shouting and yelling happening from across the way as Jimjar and Eliwick are brought out onto this like center stage platform, and these bear figures go and grab prisoners, and they just begin whipping as you guys are making food.
So are we alone now? And also, have they unshackled us to make the food, or are we still
Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys are currently unshackled, and at this moment, while this is going on, it sort of caught the attention of everybody in the kitchen, who they haven't necessarily left because they don't need to, but they're peeking out the front and kind of watching the spectacle.
They're not near like a ledge, are they?
Guys.
They're not near like a ledge. It's not like they're above.
It is near a ledge, but they're probably 20 feet from. Like you couldn't like, dink, and they'd fall over. You'd have to like pick them up, bring them to
Spartacus.
it, and throw
Right.
Do
them.
it.
This particular area is
Spartacus.
probably the widest area, whereas the rest of the ledges that kind of lead over to the slave pens and everything get a little more narrow as you go.
Did I see where they happen to move the knives to?
She has them on her.
Oh, she hasn't. I was thinking maybe it was.
They're roll a perception check.
Are they between our cheeks?
That would be.
Are they hide the knives between
Yeah,
your
so
cheeks?
as this chaos is kind of breaking out, you look around and you notice that the drow who were sitting and eating at that table actually have some like silverware, including some knives that are just laying about there.
Okay. Can I?
Between your cheeks.
Can I put it between my butt cheeks?
Yeah, you look first. You take one point
Just
for
a
slashing
Just
damage.
don't sit down there.
No. Can I? Can
he
I
sits down and it's just
sneak
like a
over
tear.
and
Oh god.
just quickly try to grab
Yeah,
it?
sure. Roll a sleight of hand check.
Oh no, the cat says take the knives.
Oh god. 8.
Your ass is gonna be grass, man.
Your ass is grass.
You,
I'm gonna mow it.
as you start to walk over and like reach your hand out, Ilvara just looks over and. Are you fucking kidding me? She just grabs you, drags you out to where these two are currently being flogged, and just kicks you onto the ground as you are thrown into the mix of just whoosh, whoosh. And you take 6 points of slashing
Ass
damage
damage?
as you just yeah.
6 points
Of
of
the ass.
went directly into the ass.
Can I look while they're distracted
There's
for
one
other
that's around
areas
there.
with?
Yeah, grab the knives too.
Looks like
While
we
they're
only have one
distracted.
ass man in this party.
It would be
He's a dragon.
At
He
this
should have
point,
some
as
scales
this
up there or
happens,
something.
the rest of the drow
Seriously.
are now
Some
kind of like
scales.
watching the spectacle, but also keeping an eye in here. So if you want to try it, there's like moments where you could,
Did you know?
but it would be a
dragonflies don't actually
disadvantage.
have tails.
Oh, I said scales. Oh, never mind.
But no, I know you did, but
I thought he said.
He was wondering if they just had scales.
Like, is their ass scaling? Like, is it,
No, it's gotta be.
I mean,
You can't have a smooth like lizard ass.
you're right. I hadn't thought
I
of
mean, the
that.
priorities of a lizard ass. Oh no, people are saying, oh no, chat's going weird.
It's getting weird.
Yeah, they're all saying like, spank him. What did I?
Ass of steel.
How many? There's like 4 drow.
There's 4. They're all trying to watch the beatings that are happening. They're way more interested in that than they are whatever you're doing. But they're aware now that you guys are trying to get funny with their
Sorry,
plates and
guys.
stuff. So they're
Right.
keeping, they're just keeping. They haven't like gone over to like guard them.
Right.
But they are aware that you're
Scale.
obviously want to take their shit. So
Hopefully.
Right.
That's a good mic.
I'm gonna get that for a fork, but not for the knife.
Fork or the fork?
Oh man. Oh.
I mean, I feel like your suspicion's a little high right now.
So I think I'll just
Got an eye
continue
in
to
your ass.
make some food.
make some food.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. There's no point.
Okay.
Yeah. Doing anything else.
So after all of this happens, you are now escorted back in, and this madness kind of calms down a little bit.
What apparel do we have on? You said undergarments. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean a basic white shirt or something, or?
Yeah, it's
Ass
it's a little bit baggy, and I mean
Fanny pack.
A fanny pack.
I don't know like a term for what those clothing would be
Wait.
other than like a toga-ish type thing, except it's a shirt, not like the single strap.
I'm
Right.
imagining
But kind of
you look
baggy,
like
kind of
Dobby.
white, kind of
Like
just
Dobby?
undergarments.
Like Dobby.
Yeah.
They
I'm wondering
give
if they
us
saw
a
my
sock.
stars or
That's
anything on my
that's
back.
with the sock.
That's what I was.
No, it would be
No,
fine.
still a sock.
Okay.
Do we practically
we
look like
basically just
we're
killed.
wearing Dobby's outfit?
I think so.
I'm
Yeah.
just picturing like Larry the Cable Guy with like no sleeves.
Yeah.
shirt, and like
Oh.
Oh.
You guys do
Gross,
have
like, tattered.
sleeves.
no offense,
So,
Larry
yeah.
the Cable Guy.
You're not.
Tracy's
actually, I was gonna
watching
say no.
us.
It's not exactly like
for
that.
some
It's
weird
these are
reason,
like
yeah.
these would be probably undergarments that you had. They didn't provide you with like shittier clothing. It's just what would go underneath armor, basically.
Right.
It's nothing fancy. It doesn't give you any protection. It's a little bit baggy, so you could sneak in like crossbow bolts or something like that. But that's sort of the extent.
Okay. More food prep.
Yeah.
So I'm back in the kitchen.
Um, so-
I make food.
Yeah, you guys continue to make
That's
food.
fair.
This time it's not quite as good as that first batch. You sort of ran out of whatever decent ingredients were sort of on this in storage. And Ilvara steps up and yes, this looks okay. She grabs these bowls and you watch her walk out of the cavern towards these Quagos that are operating the lift, and you see them just spit into these bowls as she brings them back and throws them on the counter.
Oh. Sorry. I was wondering why they spin it.
You guys are done. You can go back. And at this point, the drow that were sitting at this table begin to shackle you up and drag you back to the.
You can't use the boiling water to clean off some of the spit.
No, they spin
You didn't
it.
even have a chance, really. She threw it on there, and then these guards there escorting. As they do, you see the guy who was flirting with Ilvara is walking from the slave pen with the chamber pot for some reason. As you guys head in, and then shortly thereafter, the cleaning crew are escorted back into the slave pen, and you're all together again.
So I guess the two of us look pretty.
Jacked up.
Yeah, there's so you two and
drinking
Jim Jar.
This drow solution I found.
You two and Jim Jar are looking pretty mangled. I mean, you don't look out of place, but yeah, you're a little bruised up, a little bloody. Your clothes are a little bit torn from the whip. And,
It's gonna
I
be
shove
rough.
Jim Jar.
you shove him.
I shove him.
He's like, he's also whipped, so you end up just like, you can like feel as you push him like the wetness of blood, like
Huh.
your hands like kind of stick a little bit to the clothing. And he's like, I probably deserve it, but that's a bet. Goes and
Yes.
lays down.
So I ask you, so what'd you get?
I got 5 bolts and I like do this and they like.
I mean, Jesus, I'm
Assassin's Creed.
Dia set. You got 5.
He's not the only god.
I got 5 and I got.
History or religion check, man.
Oh, sorry, Pan. I know Pan.
You guys might want to keep that to yourselves.
Yeah, don't.
Did you also?
Yeah,
say
yeah.
that,
At
Ocean?
least you got something out of
He-
that.
As Jim
I guess
said
I
that,
could've-
he kind of gives a nod to some of the other prisoners, like,
And I guess I probably would have thought that before I said it, too. Because I
yeah,
imagine we still
I
have
assume
some
you guys are
connection.
kind of
Oh,
between yourselves. You're not like,
Yeah, yeah.
hey, everybody.
Check this out.
Well, guys.
Yeah, I will let it be known.
Pizza.
I'm never telling them that I got that gold. That's just like mine now.
Oh,
I'm
assuming that I saw
okay?
it, but and I saw him take it, but
That's how
I
you
just
claim
didn't
it as your
care.
own.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not a
Your ass is
priority.
Like I
for me.
forever only mention I got the crossbows.
Yeah, I know you got the gold too,
If you
but
want,
I
you
just
can roll
want.
a sleight of hand. You can roll a perception check to see if you actually, to see if you noticed it.
Oh, I thought I did. You told us both that we.
I assume. I mean, I guess if you guys were maybe in the same chest, it would be. I mean, you could still try. I mean, you're a rogue. You're pretty good at sneaky shit. So
Well, that wasn't so good.
A 19.
Yeah, should beat that.
yeah. So
So I
you get the sense that nobody knows, but she saw you like.
Yeah. I'm happy with
into
myself,
the coin.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
Elwyn-
pretty pleased, but
Owen knows
has a
nothing,
sharp eye.
but.
Yeah.
What do you?
Um,
I see.
So, I guess we find out what's in those things that we have. Those vials.
things?
The vials.
Or whatever, not vials, but like
But-
flasks.
The
Where's
flask.
mind? Are we still doing the like shroom communication or like what's happening?
Yes. Are we doing this through shroom?
I would say we should be.
Yes,
for now.
I think we are.
What are you talking about?
Without.
We don't know.
Then, well, y'all are back now, right?
Are we thinking?
But they don't
This is
know.
our first
Are we
time.
doing what? I don't
They've
know.
not been spored yet.
Oh,
We're
they
not-
have not been
We
supported.
don't even
What
know
is
what
sporing?
sporing is.
Hey guys.
Sporing.
Sorry. So
Whoa!
That was.
let me just take a moment
Whoa.
to bitch about Twitch. You cannot mute their commercials.
What? Thanks,
So-
Twitch.
For some reason I closed my internet browser and
Sponsored by Cheez-Its.
let me just lower this volume because there's no way to get around it. You have to pause and then there's just craziness. It makes me so mad. You should just be able to pause a commercial.
Yeah.
But then how will they get?
No, then how will
Just visual ads. Just like.
We are the commercial.
Go
I just can't wait till it's
under,
streaming ads
cover,
directly to my
and
skull.
inside the lives of your favorite athletes.
Whoa.
Turn pictures. The legend
Those
of
guys
Julio.
along once in
Julio?
10, 15
This is
years.
a long ass commercial.
Is here at LSU.
I'm sure it's not pronounced Julio.
Oh.
I don't even know.
This is
Yeah, I guess we should tell them. Or do you want to discuss the sport? Or I mean
I guess it doesn't hurt to tell them that, hey, we're talking in our minds, does it?
Are you guys talking?
We're an entirely different.
I'm just like done with
you
this
guys
day and I'm not talking.
Dude,
I'm
we
just
ate
like,
these mushrooms and now, like,
You guys are crazy.
we talk in
Whole
our
new
minds.
level of existence is like opened up to us. We can just like.
We got this little buddy named Toad, and it's just like this little
They
mushroom.
don't even know about
Yeah, it's
it.
just,
They
it's just
don't
like
even
it's just like a
Well, they
lunch
thought I
mushroom.
was. Everyone thought I was crazy. You guys thought I was crazy, man.
he doesn't move or anything. It's just like.
I just grabbed a little mushroom and put it in my stew.
No!
Breathe in the
are you
spores.
gonna eat your spinach too?
Yeah.
'Cause, like I don't know.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I should have tried sleight of hand to get a clean meal.
Mm,
You could have. You probably would have
It
died
would
with how
be-
rotten it was.
yeah. The moral thing would be to not tell us.
You
Just
have.
let us happily eat.
I have no
Said
reason.
the
to-
Ignorance is bliss.
Yes.
Ignorance is a bliss. Yeah.
You already know it's pretty bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've been here.
I don't need.
Yeah,
27 P's.
Yeah, for 27p. Probably would have been 28 after that stew, huh?
Yeah.
I'm sure. Like, is your like bladder just like microscopic, or is it like? If
He
you've
might-
been there that long.
We don't. I mean, 27 P's. That could be just like
That's
a
a
few
lot.
weeks.
That actually seems like
Or-
only a couple days.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Well,
you can
27,
do 27
like,
P's
what-
in like a few days. But
Okay,
like, it's
If you
like,
like
I
did
think
like
we're-
2 or 3 times a day.
I don't think that's probably.
Okay,
Important.
let's ask Chad. How many times do
How
you pee
many
in a
times do
day?
you pay a day, and
And
how
then-
much
You're
would
dehydrated,
27
though.
And then we'll
be
divide.
for you?
Yeah,
we
we're
will make an
dehydrated.
average, and
You
then
gotta
most
be
likely
dehydrated.
how
You're-
long
you're in
Deck has
prison.
been here.
I
Not
only
just
pee
how
like
often you pee, but how often do you pee when you're like dehydrated and
Yeah.
yeah.
Think
that's why I
hungover.
think
I
your
only pee
bladder
like
just
probably
like
like
be a
twice
symbol for
a
it.
day when I'm like
Yeah.
really, like haven't had anything to drink a day. So like that would be 27 would be a while for me. Probably like 2.5
Okay,
months.
mushroom talking. What's happening?
So we
Yes,
were
pee.
talking about mind control.
Should we think to the mushroom?
What should
Can
we
you
tell
get our
them?
buddies
Hey,
in on this
these are our
one?
buddies.
These
you
are
can
our
trust
buddies.
them.
Yeah. Should we spore them?
Maybe the bear too.
Am I
know?
his friend?
She's lonely.
Does-
She's tied up.
Does he
Wow, you
trust-
finally get
does-
into your bear's head.
Does he trust
Whoa.
me?
Yo.
Because
you can roll an insight check.
I also
I
have
feel pretty
Really
close
animal,
with him,
like,
so I hope.
Telepathically communicate with you guys
That
through
is-
the
That's pretty awesome.
That's some.
I mean, like-
That's some. Yeah.
15.
Intense stuff.
He seems very naive in a way, and that might be. So what trust he has might, for what it's worth, probably stems a little bit from just not knowing any better.
Perfect. Taking
I love him.
Your character.
I think.
And as to whether it's actually trust or just like these people aren't going to kill me, so I'm okay with them. It's kind of difficult to distinguish the line there. Like how easy it would be to break his trust, you don't know.
Let's not figure that out.
Yeah,
Mushroom guy has powers.
I love him.
Okay.
Such a dick.
I mean,
Well, my first time seeing this mushroom, and we just got done cutting up, or prepping a lot of disgusting fungus, and so
Yeah.
this actually looks like a really tasty meal.
Don't
Compared
touch
to-
the
Yeah.
shrooms.
Over a long
Don't.
period of
Why?
time.
Do it.
You guys know how I say this out loud. You guys know how I looked crazy earlier talking to this thing?
She's not crazy. He's not crazy. That's all I'm
He's in your
saying.
mind.
So I just ignore Elwyn now.
Wait. I have really high charisma. This is wrong.
But you're also
Player-
getting backup.
But player to player.
She's getting-
interaction.
Yeah, Eliwick is
Yeah.
a
Otherwise,
totally
telling you
reliable
too.
corridor.
And I'm like,
Dude, trust a mushroom.
I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, it's
man.
kind of weird. But yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
We've seen some
Yeah.
things.
No.
I give it
This
a
little
whole
guy,
new
his
perception.
name is Toadstool.
His friends like to call him
We
Goomba.
call him Goomba.
He's our friend.
But we trust
Okay.
him.
I say hold my eye.
I'm not sure he can understand our current speech, but if we think and he allows you in, we can all talk to each other.
Only if the shrooms let you into the fold, man.
Use the force.
So I don't even know what to
The shroom
say
force.
to this
Say it.
bombardment of insaneness.
Say what
So
you
I
need to
just,
say.
Goomba, if
I
you
just
would
set
spore
down
him,
the
please.
mushroom because I realize it is very important to
Wait, you
them.
picked it up?
He was
Yeah,
about to
it
pretend
was-
he was going to try and eat
In
it.
order to do that, I don't think. Well,
You have
if,
changed.
if you want, you can roll an athletics check.
Oh, is it very, very heavy?
No, it's just very small, and you can't move your hands really to. You'd have to get your waist to the ground in order to get your hands on it, and then you'd have to stand back up like without using your arms.
I mean, you can like sit down in your butt and like kind of like scoot like this, right?
You
And,
could
like-
try, and that's why. But you need an athletics check because it's not just gonna like
I
crawl.
was like,
It's
you're
not gonna
picking it
like
up with your
walk
butt?
into
Oh
your
my
open
God.
arms. It's gonna try to get away.
Everyone's
from
butt tonight. I don't know.
This
It's
this
weird.
creepy elf that's
What's going
like
on?
Scoochie does. Come over here, eat dinner. So if you want to try, you can, but it's just a little bit
Okay,
challenging.
no, I was just.
Okay. You're eyeing it.
I'm eyeing it.
Yeah.
And I've stopped eyeing it because I realize it is, for some reason, important to these drug addicts around me.
Chandler said clinch the shroom. I hate it so much.
Clinch the shroom. Okay.
Okay.
Ugh.
Does Haskin see it?
The shroom?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Does he believe us?
it's not like it stands. I mean, if you weren't aware of it, it's maybe not the most noticeable thing in this cell, but you see this mushroom that's walking around and everything. You're
And everyone is talking about it.
kind of whispering about it.
raving
Yeah.
about it.
Some of you are.
Just
Yeah.
trying to be a little nonchalant, man.
I mean, Heskin, like, you're like basically a dragon. Surely this isn't that weird for you.
How do you relate shrooms and dragons?
There's no relation. I'm just saying the weirdness level of this is you should be used to it. Like, yeah, this mushroom can help you think to us.
Help think to us. Yes.
In fact, I don't even know if it needs your permission because I didn't give it. So that I think we should just think to
No
him to
consent.
let them in.
Let them
Let them in.
Let them
Yeah,
in, Toad.
You guys see like this small like proof of spores enter into the air, and after a moment you kind of hear a hi.
Told you.
I'm in here too.
Oh god.
Toad.
Told you.
Leave, Charles.
Man.
Yeah.
Just leave
Toad, you steal that one from me.
the door.
Okay.
That's like the best.
So,
Makes
Anyway.
it
Do I think I'm
easier to
crazy?
communicate with each other.
do I think I'm crazy? Can I roll something for that?
Roll up.
Yeah.
Look,
yeah.
I thought I was
Am I on
crazy
drugs?
too.
What am I rolling? Self-insight.
Self-insight.
Whoa, you rolled
I rolled
poorly.
Oh gosh.
Did you have to do that? Come on, man. Damn.
Ellie
Okay.
was like not.
I'm like,
Oh.
I have any idea the day I've had or night? I don't even know.
Well, it looks like we had pretty similar.
That's
cases.
true.
I'm rolling.
But did you clean shit? Because that
I
happened.
mean, mold?
Mold. You both had a rough.
Yeah, that's fair.
Shit sounds worse.
All right.
So, I got 11. If it was an insight.
Hold on.
But when he was typing, it sounded like that GIF of like, or that video of someone who's pretending to hack, and they're just like on the computer.
I've entered the meme database.
Like the guy at Best Buy who's like, I'm hacking the mainframe at Best Buy, and he's just running to all the computers and like dragging his hand across.
Statue of Liberty. Hacking the NSA.
Okay. This is pretty fun.
Much good.
There's I just can't say anything, but I'm gonna text you. Do you have your phone?
You.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So no one knows what.
No
What does
secret
the magic
message.
mushroom say? The secret mushroom message.
What have you been enlightened to
Oh,
on your
I want a
journey?
secret
Or if you find it, I bet it's like bad shit happens.
Yeah. You just gotta let it take you for the ride, man. You gotta.
I hate that. Spider-Man?
It's just.
Where did you come from?
Haskins just like
Get
bombed
out
out.
of
Going,
Do it.
Spider-Man,
like-
Spider Jam. Spider-Man, Spider Jam.
Y'all
I
went
feel like things are
digressing.
digressing, but
Yeah. We did watch the start of this, but I think this is the first time the public has been.
enlightened to
Spider-Man.
to all that.
Now you know.
It's
Our
half
dragon
the
is
battle.
Heskin's dance moves.
These are his
He learned that.
abilities.
dancing
As
with
a
people.
slave.
As a slave, he learned,
Webtastic abilities.
he learned the
With the
ways
spiders.
of the Peter
It's-
Parker.
It's his most powerful thing without his weapons.
Oh my god, this text message.
How
Okay.
useful would that be right now, though? That'd be
Oh, that'd be really
flipping
useful, actually.
insane.
You'd be like snagging people, like
Yeah.
his swords out of their belts. You'd be like,
A web is a spell.
Well, there are
Yeah.
spiders down here.
Do you believe in this,
Yeah,
Heskin?
try to get
Ask.
bit by one.
Oh.
If you become something.
I believe in a thing.
Whatever.
I'm spider-born.
I've not received.
Should.
Oh, sorry.
Got it?
Haskin shrugs in response, as if to say, "Why not?"
He's
Has
open to
an
new
open
things.
mind.
I'm writing that down.
The fish creature that's in there is kind of like
Of course.
tranquil.
Alright, now
This
we're not all
hippie.
talking about
We must all love
So,
you.
you fish person?
Jeez, we've got the dude fish over here.
Dude fish over.
And I start
How do
just,
you live?
I
What's the
I
fish's-
catch the eye of
It's a lungfish.
Oh crap!
Eliwick, and I just start like feeling her head.
Oh
She's
dear.
Bad trip.
God.
Oh man.
Just give him something from the flask and see what happens.
Oh, no.
Experiment.
It'll probably help.
I think I'm too distracted, and then I catch her,
Experiment
I-
without any known
and
variable.
I just start.
Touching my head.
Don't worry about it.
Judo,
True size.
remember. The judo.
Chaos is
Our
coming.
band, remember.
And
Remember
Remember
Drew?
who you are.
it's not like your wits aren't about you, but it's convincing.
Bad trip.
Wait. You were feeling their heads?
In our faces.
So did they reveal
I
their
feel you back.
just their
Mr.
cross bolt their bolts
That's
to
Yeah.
Meskin and
Sure.
I'll think like, yeah, I got 2 crossbows.
I
He
have-
actually got 5,
I
but
got
like
5, so
he
yeah.
got 5, but like whatever.
I say
What?
Jack has bad ideas.
And then I flash you, and I
And
start.
I instantly am like, nope.
Yeah.
Hey, the
I just shrugged.
pros have yet to be seen. Is all I'm saying.
I stealthily slide a the 3 extras. I have 2, one on each arm of mine, but then I give them each one of the bolts.
Okay. Roll a sleight of hand check.
You're shooting really weird handshakes. Here's the bolt, bro.
And weave the basket
That's
and
all.
shake the bait.
How you
Yeah.
doing?
12.
12.
Okay. You managed to do it, and particularly you do it without really catching the attention of some of the other prisoners who you might not want to be aware that you have crossbow bolts on.
So I have a bolt now?
You all.
Oh,
Did you?
God.
Did you?
You've got
No,
you've got a
no,
bolt.
no.
Everybody's
Did
got
you give him a bolt?
Bad idea.
No, I gave them both bolts.
Those bolts. Okay.
You said all 3 of us, right?
you
Hey.
did say all 3.
I did. Okay, he gets
Okay.
a bolt.
So
I
Oh.
moved
Bill,
I mean,
you get along.
You get a
you can choose to play that however you want, but as you're handing these bolts out, you notice that Erevan is kind of like, rubbing people's heads and like just,
confused.
Heskin.
he's kind of in another world right now. So, however, I mean, you're aware enough to like, yeah, okay, I'll take this. But
Heskin.
Can I help him
kind of.
hide it in his sleeve? Like
he's
just
not. He's
I'm
not
dumb.
like incapable
Well,
of
no,
like
but you're-
moving,
you're acting out, man.
but
You're
yeah,
acting
You're gonna be like, "Is this real?" and stab yourself in the hand.
Yeah, I mean, there is some.
Love Israel.
There's some question in your mind. It is weird because with everything that's happening to you right now, somebody's trying to hand you a crossbow bolt. So there is this element of actually. Why don't you just roll an insight check?
That was pretty good. 21.
I was
Okay,
waiting
I
for
mean, you
like.
know well enough. Okay, I need to hide this.
Good.
This is, yeah, whatever.
You're
And after so after a few moments, you kind of start to come back to earth.
Baby, come back.
So,
But I didn't get to play with the ooze.
You might have in the time that you were sort of like
I was gonna poke it with the crossbow.
walking around. Oh, pretty sure. I mean, you might still have some lingering effects if you wanted to go over there and sort of like. As you're doing that, though, that's things start to come down and it sort of just disappears, and you're just clicking an arrow into the wall.
Yeah.
So I'm the crazy one now.
Okay.
Yeah. At that point, Jim
No
Jar comes
more
up and like.
shrooms for him. He's cut off.
Keep it hidden.
so
Keep it safe.
Nice.
I know Lord of the Rings.
I like him.
Lord of the Rings is coming indie.
I know. Well, I got the reference. That's why I fist
yeah.
bumped. Yeah.
Sorry, Dylan.
Sorry, Dylan.
Maybe next time. So
Okay.
I think okay. So we've got 7
No,
crossbows.
We got 7 crossbows.
Lord
We're
of the
thinking
Rings.
this.
Not crossbows, but
Yeah.
bolts.
Bolts. Which are
Did you
Yes,
mention
Lord of the Rings.
the flask?
And a
I
flask.
haven't
Well, you can
mentioned
always
it.
like
Was it a
do
singular
pinky,
flask?
like,
Yeah, it's one.
like the cops do, like.
And just from, I guess, actually that'd probably be a little dangerous to be sniffing in it, but
Yeah.
we don't know what's in it. I mean, I would assume
Just
just
fun. I mean, like,
Probably.
I'm jealous.
an alcoholic
Kool-Aid?
beverage.
Kool-Aid.
It definitely could be cool.
Yeah.
If
This
it's
could
oil
be
or
want to
something, it
roll
might
like
be
investigation
useful.
as
I
to
keep
what it
thinking
might
about
be,
that,
or maybe
but
nature to
if
see if
it's
it's
lard-
poisonous.
Well, we don't even know it exists.
So
Well, well, I guess
Oh,
you
sorry.
Did
so
any-
one
did
of the
anybody
ways
I made a meta
grab?
suggestion.
one of the ways to typically identify potion in D&D is to
Arcana.
take a little.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
I was gonna suggest.
like
Should you want to
Let's
ingest
do it.
what's in this one?
Should
Do
you
we
want?
want to make
Want to take a little?
our little dude do it?
make this mushroom do it?
No, not nice little dude. Sorry, the
Jigsaw or whatever.
Jim jar.
Jim jar.
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 Good bet.
We.
I mean, I already owe him all my gold. Which
I'll just do it, and then I just go ahead and I do the little taste test.
Oh boy, turn into a bugbear.
That'd be so rad. You'd have to.
Temporary
You
transformation.
like
There's
turn
actually
into
a whole
Bowser and
process
just
where you
knock
can
through the
turn
wall.
it into things.
Roll
And you
a
like sniff it, wait for
Constitution
rub it
saving
in your,
throw?
like skin, wait 30 minutes.
It's
and turn it your nose, wait 30 minutes, and you like taste
Owned.
it. 30 minutes, and then
One of us should know what the mage is.
Wait, what was that? It was the.
Julie's
Was that a 6? I thought it was a 3, but it had the line, so.
highly educated.
It's not much better.
Oh.
Yeah.
You said it was a constitution.
Mm-hmm.
Big fat 0.
So it's a 3.
Better than
Well, it
negative.
had a line underneath it, so I think it was a 6.
We are just having some
Pretty
shit.
good.
rolls in
My
the
my
dark.
rolls are so bad in your house. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not feeling this vibe.
We'll get into the groove. I told you I rolled my first roll today was decent.
You also
so
got
it's
a
always,
20,
It sets
so.
the groove. But that was like my 4th roll. I don't that. And roll a
Farewell.
dexterity saving throw.
It will.
Drinking is a dexterous sport.
Maybe it's explosive.
I mean, like, you got like your arms down there. I mean, like,
Okay.
just give it to
Maybe
somebody
like
else and
dribble
like
it to your
kneel and
arms.
like have them like pour it
I
into
don't
your
know if
throat.
they have that.
Maybe if I do it.
Yeah, I get that. He's
Yeah.
poked the hole from the sarcasm.
Okay.
Right. The,
Okay.
I do, but
I know.
all my juju's gone.
What'd you roll?
8.
Okay. So
I die.
And you go to hell.
And I go to
Holy crap! And you go down. Just add that.
which is better than where you're at now.
That was
That
a
was
bit
a
more than
lot.
I intended.
Whoa.
You take some and
Cross it
immediately
over.
your tongue just like goes numb.
Oh, don't drink this.
And your vision just starts to
You're like
black out and you end up falling to the
Knockout
ground
juice.
with
This
this
is the cheese and
flask in your
Oh
hand,
my gosh,
which
roofie.
you make some attempt, like as you're falling, you know, like I need to hold this. As you hit the ground, about half of whatever is in there
This
just
is
kind
an
of
emerge camp.
spills out onto the ground
Oh,
next to
crap.
you.
Okay.
So the rest of you
Try and
watch
grab it.
as he just falls to the ground, and you see this flask kind of roll to the side. Currently, you are unconscious.
I say, well, I guess I can put people to sleep.
We found the bottle of laudanum.
Knockout juice.
Knockout juice.
That's what it is. It's knockout juice.
The juice.
But also, she got
Better than
like
that.
she took like the smallest thing of it. So I'm guessing if someone
Powerful.
would take a big sip, something worse would probably.
Plus I
So
spilled
I try
half
to
of it
take
out,
the
so.
really disgusting food that we just brought in.
You didn't
Make
bring in
us-
that food.
Oh.
It was in the kitchen still.
Yeah.
Didn't I bring some?
I thought she handed us bowls.
She
Yeah, I thought she
put
handed us bowls of
on
spit
the
fruit.
counter.
No, she put them on the counter and then had you guys escort
Nobody
it out.
cares. She's
Oh.
passed out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, different
Yeah.
I thought we had
torture.
food
I was
with
gonna
us.
make
No.
her
You make
smell
the
it,
food?
trying to make.
Oh, you make the food and then you don't get to eat it.
Okay, well,
Ultimate power roll. of
You
Trevor.
are,
Whatever.
you're maybe knocked out for like 15 seconds or something. Pretty short. But you wake up on the ground just like.
That could be useful.
Fine. Just the slight. Fuck. That sucks. Ah.
And the orc that is in the cell is kind of like just having a bit of a giggle.
Fuck you.
so what's the potion do?
Did you not just
I mean, he was like tripping for a while.
sleep
but-
juice?
Was it?
That's your
Sleep juice.
That could be used to our advantage.
What's the potion do?
Oh, we could
I mean, Sling Blade?
sleep.
More like I like Harry Potter. Well, that is Sling Blade, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight up was like,
Well,
So-
never mind.
That's your own biscuit.
So
Is there
Can we
anything that you guys
make
would
our crossbow bolts
like to
into
do
sleep
in the
bolts?
cell at this time? Anything specific?
Okay,
Or
this
Just
is
stab.
sort of a different direction, but okay, we know that this drow in here knows something happened
There's
with him,
mushrooms.
Yeah.
and we know there's some drow. What's the word? Drama going on, like some
Yeah,
drama.
there's a dude.
Some drama. There's some drama going on, and I feel like,
Yeah.
and I feel like
more jokes like that.
that maybe we should learn something about that if we can. Like this dude is friends with this mushroom, and like maybe he'll be friends with.
I'm half drow. Maybe I'll. Maybe we can.
Maybe we can ask the mushroom is like, how do we
What
be?
is he like?
What's he into? What is
Yeah.
his? What's
So
his
what?
kink? You
So
know?
what,
Like,
what does he like? You know, I can't.
does he like me?
Does he like?
Has he said
me?
anything about me?
Has he said anything?
So are you guys talking to each other?
I'd say I'm
mushroom-
thinking out loud that we should. Well, I
mush-
guess the mushroom would hear that,
He'd be like the.
but I feel like
He's naive enough that he would probably. I didn't. This is me out of character. I think he's naive enough that he would probably be like, "Oh, I'll talk to him," you know. But
put in the good word. I mean,
So-
is that what you guys think should probably
pulling my
happen?
hair out.
Putting a good word on.
What's his name?
I don't know
There's
anything
that
about
one
this.
other-
Seraph?
So again, are you?
Seraph.
This is the drow prisoner that's in there. You're aware of that he's there, but
I know.
actually, he.
That's all I know.
Wait a second. Who was divided into what? I'm
Are you
pretty
still
sure.
like freaked
he-
out?
He made food.
I think he's
Yeah,
fine
he was
now.
in the main food.
That's all I know.
So are you having this conversation out loud or in your heads?
In our.
In our heads.
Everything's gonna be in my head now.
So as you guys are discussing this, you just hear a. That's my Conid. You don't think I can hear you right now?
Ew.
I like you.
But who said that?
I like you.
Okay.
You get the impression it's Sarah.
Oh,
Sarah.
fuck.
Ooh, hey.
How you doing?
I didn't really want to be the one to talk to you. So why
I
are
didn't want to be the one to talk to you either.
Fair point.
I really like your little buddy. He's a nice guy.
Isn't he wonderful?
I love him.
I do too.
So I bet you want to
I
get
also
him
love
out of
him.
here and back
See
to his home.
As you say that, you just see his eyes like brighten up, and like you now
Well,
you're like
else?
on his frequency, you know.
Gotcha.
He seems like such
So-
a nice little creature.
It sure
Everybody
seems to me
seems
that
to
your
get
friend here is one of the keys of getting out of here. Since we can now communicate in a group, and the guards will not hear us.
It gives us some advantage, yes.
So
So, wouldn't it be advantageous to you to help us as much as you can, so we can help you? And Goomba?
Yes. You're not wrong. But what's the plan?
Well, I mean, you know more about this place than we do. I think you should tell us as much as you know. Like, how did you get in here, and what's up with old Mangleface over
I
here?
was framed by these shitheads. Old Mangleface is Yorlin. He used to be Ilvara's lover. Till there was some incident on one of his raids, and now he looks like he does. Ilvara quickly dropped him and moved on to the next best thing.
And you were framed for what?
They say that I killed my fellow drow, but that's not true. At least I don't think it's
Is
true.
there a reason they would want you out?
They're drow. They stab people in the back just to amuse themselves. Who knows?
How can you be uncertain
Uncertain about.
that you killed him? Uncertain about killing.
you said you weren't sure.
I didn't kill them.
You did hesitate.
Press X to doubt.
That's not pushing too much, okay?
I just.
It's just assume we didn't.
It wasn't me that killed him. I don't know who they're talking about.
Well, it shows that you have compassion if you care for this little guy.
Right, so whatever plan we have to get him back, I'm in.
Alright.
Well,
Perhaps for the same reasons that I got in here, these drow would be willing to, I don't know, betray one another again. Yorlin might be the right target. He has enough beef with them.
see, we tried to talk to him. We mostly got whipped.
Okay.
Literally.
We totally got
We
whipped.
totally
For the
got
first
it.
time, you just hear him like
In his
amused and laughing
Yeah.
at you.
Sex with her.
yeah, we gotta kill him.
That's
And Franger.
Dude, poop guy.
Poop guy.
Poop guy.
He's
Seems
sleeping
like-
with.
Yeah.
Also,
With fish.
probably I don't.
Oh, would
care.
you guys know that?
I mean,
But he
they
did
were
say-
they were talking about meeting up later for some.
Yes, but
some
only
other-
But
we
only they.
heard
You-
that.
You would have heard him.
He said he was
yeah,
going to hurt
you
him
actually,
later.
you actually heard him explicitly say
Yeah.
like,
And her.
if I weren't spending so much time in
Yeah.
Elvara's chambers, then
Yeah.
I would be caring for the
Oh.
girl.
That would
So
be
I guess
natural.
we should try to figure out, were these the same drow? The one that poured and the one that said that? you
Well, no,
guys
they
said?
were the same one because he said that to us.
Right.
But right before he poured the shit.
Yes.
So that guy is the guy we need to target.
Yeah. So the
because
cleaning
we can
crew knows that Shore and Yorlin have a beef over Ilvara, and that Shore, I don't know if you guys know his name, but that is his name, to make it easier. He is the one who's with Ilvara.
Got
And
but I'm a
the kitchen crew,
vegetarian.
you guys are aware that this drow, who I don't think you know the name, but Ishor, was cozy with them, and you saw him with this chamber pot as you were heading back. Yeah.
Gotcha. Alright.
So what do you mean target him? Kill him?
Put him to sleep. I put up my vial. My
In the
drop
end,
glasses.
if we kill one drow, that's nothing. We need to, like, I don't know, cause something bigger to happen here.
Yorlin holds a lot of resentment for the drow that he's currently with right now. And perhaps he might like to see them fail in some way.
That's more.
I agree.
Are you suggesting he might help us?
Yes.
I don't know if I could go that far as to think any of these bastards would help us, but maybe we can manipulate them for our purposes.
I like it. So, what's the plan?
Now,
Montage of like
Yeah.
drawing in the sand and
Yeah.
It's here.
Teach us your language.
Yes,
I
yes.
can't, yeah. I don't know how long that would take.
I know how many
We have a
keys
lot
will
of
that
time.
So I
go
guess,
by?
do we want to talk about how we could
Yes.
do
Oh,
things?
good.
Well, I've got the sleeping potion.
Clearly.
Clear. Sorry, that's funny. The look down and up was the best part. Clearly, we have these bolts too, and we can either use that. I could possibly try and convince old Mangleface Stirland to that we could try and get rid of the guy who threw shit all over his room, whose name escapes me at the moment.
Sure.
Names are
I
not
don't think
important.
we-
He's a shit.
I
Probably
don't know.
sure.
I don't feel good about letting him know that we stole his poison.
No.
Oh,
Not tell him we stole it, but say that we can take care of him for a little while he goes and settles revenge with what's her name? Ivara.
Hag.
He obviously, or try and get Ivara's attention, make her fall asleep or something. Y'all cook the food, right?
Not her.
You.
food.
Oh,
Do we know that will happen again?
I don't, but.
Well, we don't cook her food, but we are in the vicinity
Right.
of it.
Did
but
she taste
How
anything?
could you know exactly?
No.
Anything that's good goes to them. That's the long and short of it. If we could create a distraction.
You could put something on some of the good food.
But wait, what happens
Exactly.
when we get the thing to her? Like, what? Even if she drank all of it, and like, even if she died, like, we're still
Well,
gonna
that
be in
would
a prison cell.
that would isolate her from shit drow, and then Eurolins can fight that drow, and then we can escape while they're fighting, because it seems like they're the main group around here, other than the 2 guards that are in charge of the up and down escalator thing.
We can make Yorland believe that our escape would be Shore's fault, or make him look like he's the one who failed. Maybe not just ours specifically, but let's say just one cell of people.
That's good.
And all of it would be on Shore, then maybe he believes he would fall back in favor.
Is he ever the main guard watching us?
That I feel like I should be able to find out.
There's not really any guards that are like definitely not at the cell. Anyways, there's nobody that's watching you. You get the sense that Shore is certainly higher up, just probably because of his relationship with Elvira. But there's not like somebody that's actively involved with you guys in some meaningful way.
Not sure how we could somehow pin that on him.
Well, if he could be seen sleeping out in the open.
Sleeping on duty?
Sleeping on duty.
Sleeping on
Even if
duty.
he's not, even if he's not,
Which we're,
He's already doing that.
we're gonna...
even if he's not
Just lost some shit.
watching us, we can make it look like he's, I don't know, had a little too much to drink or something.
Some bottle into his hand.
Yeah. We can knock him out with whatever's in that flask if Yerland is willing to help us with that. He can plant the bottle. He could let us escape and then make it look like...
He did that, yeah.
Is there any way the Goomba can induce hallucinations like happened to me?
Are you asking him?
Yeah.
What do you mean hallucinations?
Yeah, I think that's just you. Aww.
Oh.
He doesn't even know. He doesn't even
Well,
know.
I
it's
saw
true.
oozing walls and... No? Not purposeful?
He like looks around.
That's never happened before.
They know you're in here. They're aware of you.
The draft.
Okay.
So if you were to talk to them, they would be like, oh, it's Goomba. Probably.
No, it's just Scuba.
I don't want to talk to them.
Goombeezy.
Do they know of your abilities to talk to people with thoughts?
I don't know for sure, but maybe.
Oh.
They haven't really done anything about it. They probably don't seem as much of a threat.
I mean, they don't even shackle him. Wait, do you get out?
Oh, you mean just walk through these bars? Yeah.
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Why are they imprisoning like a mycoid anyway?
Well, it was
drop
pro-
crimes.
it was- So
What has he
it was
done?
explained earlier that Seraph had captured this myconid when he was still in the ranks of this outpost, and then when he was thrown into prison, they just threw the myconid in.
Oh,
They
okay.
were kind of like
okay.
pals.
Sorry.
A unit.
Yeah. It's like you can
Use your
you,
mushroom pet.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
you can get out of here and take your ugly dog with you.
It's like a
'Cause
small compassion in
maybe-
this horrible time.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we could spore all of the drows and roll a nat 20 persuasion and get them to kill themselves.
So,
Dude, make the drow think they're crazy.
wait,
Just
can
speaking in
he
whispering in their heads.
escape? He's small.
No, he can't. He can't fit through the bars or anything.
Oh, okay.
Can they
I thought
just
he was like crazy small.
Can they just use the myconid
He,
to like,
he's
whisper in
he's
their heads
probably
and they
like
feel
this
fast
big, you know. He's very
Short.
short,
They can think they're
Right,
crazy
right.
and lonely.
he's pretty plump.
Okay.
He's a plump little guy. Ah, I love
He's a little
him.
Goomba.
I put a picture of what I found.
I guess
One.
I mean,
icon.
so one thing that we could...
Discord.
I mean, how often does...
I guess we could ask
this
Sarah
everything
too
happen?
because he would know a lot about the stuff.
Yeah. But like us doing these kind of tasks, how often does that happen where we can...
Yeah,
leave
have I
these
done that
cells?
before? I
Well,
guess.
Deck did mention that it's fairly spontaneous.
Right.
Within
Yeah,
27 piece.
you've probably gone out and done some like cleaning or busy work, but you haven't been here really long enough to do a whole lot. But maybe once or twice you've gone out, and there's been no. I mean, they'll come in and wake people up and bring them out to do shit, and they'll just it's.
And you
pretty
never know
random.
what or who's going to do what.
yeah.
Okay, so we couldn't. It would be really hard to like plan.
I'm ready to work.
Well, one thing that we could potentially do is there's not that many people watching us whenever they are watching us. It's possible that we could maybe kind of poison our crossbow bolts with the sleeping potion,
Most certainly.
and then be able to knock some of them out.
Well, we don't know if that liquid, whatever it is, a sleeping agent,
Would be effective. Though.
be effective in a melee type of capacity. It might have to be ingested.
Well, I know how we
can
can find
test
out.
this.
We can put it up against your bear.
No.
Jeez.
How about we make a bet to
What-
Jinjo?
Why don't you stab him with it
Sure.
and see how it goes?
But also, while the bear is asleep, that'd be a perfect time to take his tooth. Just saying. Anyway. Man, the problem is like we have bits and pieces of good ideas, but they don't like lead to us. It doesn't all fit together. It feels like.
Any more insight?
All drains lead
Insight
to
check.
the ocean. We will all collectively get there. We're gonna
That's
get
right.
Oh.
The fish guy too that responded is
Fish
even
guy.
funnier. Is your name Nemo?
Shusha.
Shusha.
Oh
Shusha.
wow!
I was gonna say Luke.
I knew his
That's a
name
beautiful
before I
name.
heard his
Yeah,
name.
I knew it here.
Shusha the Awakened.
The Awakened.
Are you-
Sure.
But you can call me Shusha.
Did you name yourself that?
It's what I am.
He's woke.
Do you have
Alright, I think we should probably maybe.
Let's do this
Uh,
around.
This is
Let's
some-
step over
Asking
this
addresses
way.
Shusha, and he says, "Do you have any suggestions?"
To find inner peace.
God, here we
God.
go.
Why did you open
If you let the universe guide us, it will bring us where we need to go. But let me offer this, my friends. Should you succeed in this plan, I'm happy to bring you back to Slubluda. There, you can regather what you need, supplies and things, before you make your trek onward. I can at least offer that much.
This is what Shusha.
How far is that from here?
carries on him at all times.
Is
He will know exactly that answer, but let me get the thing.
Is his species also from the Underdark, or is he?
This
Yeah.
is Shusha.
Perhaps a week's time to travel.
okay. So we'll have to get some sort of supplies from here before we leave, probably. Though.
Also, how familiar are our
Also, all our
characters with the
Underdark.
actual- Yes, with the Underdark.
Well,
So we
I'm fairly familiar, but
You would have some ideas. Like you would be aware of a lot of locations, mostly towards your hometown, probably. But in terms of
well, I grew up in Waterdeep, but I was from my dad knowing stuff, and then also when I was enslaved, like a little bit when I was a teenager. But
Big deal or anything?
oh yeah, it's like it's no big deal. Like, it's fine. It's in my past. But
how close is Waterdeep to the Sword Coast? Do you know?
Waterdeep is a little bit south. It's closer towards like.
Doesn't matter. You probably don't have a.
Yeah.
Well, right now you're not even sure where you are in the Underdark.
Yeah,
I
don't
You know you're in Velkynvelve, but
'Cause-
and you're aware that just roll a nature check. Intelligence, probably just a straight intelligence check.
I mean, do any of the rest of us know anything about like where we are? And, like, do we know of an escape? We say we went to escape, but we need to know of an escape.
The rest of you would be pretty unfamiliar with this.
You said which history or nature?
Just an intelligence check, straight
Uh-huh.
intelligence.
I think while you're checking on that, Heskin will express that concern that we don't know, even if we can't get out of this cage, and even if we happen to, I don't know, incapacitate some of the other
As
captors
you-
here. We don't know where to go, and
As
there's
you-
certainly more to come.
As you express that concern,
18.
Shushar anyways enlightens everybody a little bit about the terrain, the fact that right now you are at some drow outpost, which he, you don't necessarily know whether he's right or wrong, but he believes it's about a week's away from Sluludop, which is a you in particular would know. This is like a Kuatoa
Okay.
civilization.
Yeah.
He is a Kuatoa.
Okay.
It's right against the Dark Lake, which is this series of like
Yeah.
water caverns, and like it's not just like a singular lake, but actually a lot of like
Yeah.
passages, and like different races in the Underdark have carved out areas for this to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then around the Dark Lake, there are a series of different civilizations
Yeah.
that you're aware of that would have basically just different like strongholds for different
Priestess.
races in
Yeah.
the Underdark. So
I'm pretty one of
That.
on the Dark Lake. There's this
Yeah.
one merchant town that's where Ellen's father was a merchant.
and
so
it's
he's
somewhat
fairly-
near Menzo Bronson as well.
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
would be aware.
Oh, of course.
But
Yeah, I
it's-
know where Menzo Bronze
Yeah.
is. That's a given. I'm
Of
half
course.
drow.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
So
Come on, give me a break.
it's all near there, but it's still it's not
It's
that
all
close.
relative.
I mean, the thing that you would know about the Underdark especially is that traveling through here is very difficult. So if it were to take you even a day's travel on the what would you even call it? What is above the Underdark?
The overworld.
The overworld?
The Middle Earth.
Middle Earth?
The
Yeah.
upside down.
It would take you,
the
maybe a
Just
day
the
to travel.
forgotten
It might
lands?
take you like
Yeah,
months to travel that in the Underdark, just because the terrain can be
That's from
so
Chronicles of Narnia.
so complicated,
Middle Earth?
and it's very easy to
Oh, is it?
kind of lose your way or end up traveling over terrain that's pretty challenging.
So,
we were to get
despite
the skull
Yeah,
board,
you
we could
being
probably get out.
Good
kind of like goofy from being beat up, I asked if whatever that bloopy guy's name is knows about the Archpriestess.
Bloopy.
The bloopy
Bloopy guy.
Papa of Xena.
Bloopy boy.
The one that took the relic.
I do know about the Archpriestess, and well, that's why I left. If you know anything about the Kuto, we are poor. We are a misguided race. We are violent like the Drow. But I left to open my mind to a different way of life. I found peace in my journeys, and now the time is right for me to go back to my people and tell them that there are other ways than what the priestess would lead them to believe. But I am aware.
Okay.
What's this relic? Just for a friend. I say this as Deck.
I
Ask
just
for a
look at
friend.
him and like, I literally wouldn't. No.
Just,
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
I have a
That's happening. Okay.
education.
So I'm not. I ignore his question.
Ask you for a
Looking at my
friend.
notes.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't have notes. Never mind. Just
Acting
thinking.
like she has notes.
Yeah.
She pretends
Just
that she
looking at
has
my
them.
hand, like fascinatingly. Yeah.
So, as you guys plot and discuss and all these things, 2 days end up passing by as you sit in the cell. During this time, you've just been ignored, left alone. You haven't even been given any food to eat.
We need food.
Occasionally, you'll see a drow or one of these quaggoths will walk past, but they don't even look in the slate pen. It's like it's not even there. Eventually, however, you do see Mr. Salvara, after 2 days, approach the slate pen.
How many pisses is that?
Hmm?
How many pisses is that?
2 days?
What did chat say?
Dehydrated, that's 4 pisses.
Yeah.
Did you assume that you only do it 2 times a day?
We're dehydrated.
I'll be
Even
honest.
so. Even so.
You guys only pee 2
You
times
also
a day?
have.
I only
The
have
only thing I see
if
is
I
that
haven't had
27
anything
is
to
a
drink
lot.
all day.
Oh, I drink
I have a
coffee in the morning.
massive
so, and
bladder.
sometimes-
Nobody actually said
God gifted me with a bladder.
Nobody
other
gave an
than,
answer
like,
of
it
how
wasn't
many times
looks,
they
it wasn't
pee.
height, it wasn't. It
Anyways.
was just my bladder.
2 days have passed, but sure, our conception of time is kind of
Yeah, you're actually not totally aware it's been 2 days, but
Yeah.
it has been, and it's felt like a long time. And you're starting to feel just like
right.
hungry and tired and like just I'm And at this point, Elvira steps up and... Unfortunately, that small goblin didn't quite satisfy his brothers.
Oh, God.
God.
They're still hungry. So, who wants to help feed them today? You over there, dwarven girl. Pick a prisoner. And you see this dwarven girl who you've maybe interacted with a few times over the last 2 days. She's sort of just a strong-willed, sassy...
Is it possible to slip her a gold piece without Elvira seeing at this point?
She gives you a single gold piece, and then she chooses you because she thinks you're like wanting. You're like, please.
Can
just
we
kill
still
me
think
now.
to each other?
You can. But really, before you have much time to say something, she kind of stands up and... My family, they live in Gonselgrim. Should you ever find your way there, you tell them of me, and you tell them I was not afraid to die. My only regret is that I died at the hands of these spider fuckers. And at that moment, Elvira just grabs her and just starts dragging her over to the edge of this cavern as she's
What was
fighting.
her name?
You learned while you were there, her name was Eldith Feldrum.
I believe you mean bad bitch numero uno.
Boss bitch.
And actually, she... So as she's being drug out there, she manages to kind of hit, like, clock Elvira against the chin, like, pretty decent, and begin to slip away. And she just starts booking it and makes it maybe, like, 3 or 4 feet before you see one of these Quaggoths just come in, like, bull rush, like, shoulder check her, and you just see... I shouldn't be laughing.
So sadistic.
He loves this.
I know.
She just kind of ragdolls off the side of the cavern as Elvira kind of collects herself and wipes her chin. What a feisty one she was. Well, prisoners, it's time for another day of chores. Let's go. You 4 are with me today. You 4 with Quaggoths. Let's go. So, because we haven't had a chance, Julius, roll a survival check.
He's entered the game.
A new challenge approaches.
So wait, survival.
Survival check.
Let me find my.
I haven't had to use his character sheet yet. What kind of stuff did you see? Cakes, wines,
Tiny wine.
tarts?
I got a 16.
Screw
with a
you.
0 modifier.
Right?
Okay, so currently you have found your way to Wayback Cave, back to where your friends were.
Okay.
You found an empty cavern. It seems like when you were there, you and the Drow party and now these dead dwarves were probably the only people who knew about it, and so Wayback Cave is probably lost again for the time being. You found just, dried blood and some tracks from the battle. From there, you set out on like a small little boat following a water passage that would have brought you at least maybe a few miles or something like that before finding land, and successfully have found tracks of just it seems like maybe 2 like straight lines where there might have been like a wagon of some kind that was being pulled, as well as just various footprints that you've been following for this time. You managed to follow these tracks for, it takes you a while. You're traveling for at least a week, 2 weeks or something, and during this time you're just largely in the dark, maybe with some bit of light that you're keeping following you or something like that. And eventually you find your way into a very large, open cavern. Roll a perception check.
And I should say that Julius would probably be taking notes as he went on like where he's gone and like marking the walls with chalk. The whole...
So Julius.
No, I love it.
You
I
gotta
love
know
it
where he's going.
forever.
He's gotta know where he's going.
Never change.
14.
Is that Jesus taste pretty good? I'm gonna help them.
Inspire me.
You notice that there are a mass of cobwebs on the ceiling. Just thick. You can't see anything beyond. Just massive cobwebs here.
Not spiderwebs.
Like just right across the ceiling, or are they like everywhere? Is it like
Wait, spiders?
a cobwebby cavern, or is it?
It's just. I mean, it's very dark in here, but with your light, I mean, it just looks like white, basically. I mean, you can see strands.
Cobweb.
Damn.
And you can see like occasionally the spider will like kind of move across, but.
Wow, I'm distinctly not a fan of that. The tracks like led through here, or can I see them like disappearing into the cavern, or?
At this point, there isn't. I mean, there's nothing really on the floor of this cavern that you would be able to distinguish as like footprints or not. You do see a large waterfall that's kind of breaking up some of the cobwebs with a small river that kind of drains. Who knows exactly where, but it goes underneath the cavern into some underground river. As you're entering into this cavern, the rest of you get split up into groups once again. This time, Haskin, Elwyn, Deck, and the Quaggot that is also in the slave pens with you are brought back to the main hall. And
Is
where
that
you guys-
Shusha?
no, this is you would have probably met this character over the last 2 days. He calls himself Prince Darendil, and he speaks with a very for anybody that speaks Elvish, he's speaking Elvish.
Yeah.
But it's like a weird Shakespearean kind of Elvish, like very old and like outdated.
This guy's old as balls, guys.
And he has explained that he is not what he appears to be. He's not Quaggoth, but rather he is a Prince Darendil, and he claims to be royalty. He claims
Prince. I've never heard of you.
Darendil. He says that he is from the kingdom of Nelrindenvin, and
What?
Nelrindenvin.
Nelrin?
I should've said,
Bane.
I didn't vote for you.
I didn't vote for yes. I didn't vote for.
And he explains that he was at one point usurped by a wizard named Terester, who trapped him in this form and then exiled him, where he was then captured by
He's
the
a
drow.
he's a who's a what?
Huh?
He's a who's a what?
He is a Quaggoth. He's one of these like white bearish figures.
Oh, he's the one with the monocle.
That's okay.
And he's.
Oh, you said one of them was monocle earlier.
He meant
Manacle.
Oh, I thought you said monocle, and I was
No.
like, wow, he's
If you
fancy.
say
There was a
Fancy.
bugbear in
You
our campaign
had a
that had
bugbear with a
but-
monocle one
yeah.
time, so I thought, oh, this guy's a fancy one. Can
No.
he have a monocle?
This guy is, well, mostly naked except for like a gold-plated, like thick necklace kind of thing on, but otherwise he's just like this hulking creature.
He's just naked.
I mean,
respect
he's like a
him for
bear.
that.
He's like furry. He doesn't look
He's a
out of
witch.
place.
furry?
But yeah, he's a furry.
He's naked. He's a furry.
I mean, all
I
of the
shamed
all
him.
of the Quaggoths that are around here aren't wearing clothes. They're just
Right.
in their
All
fur.
natural.
So Ilvara leads you back to the kitchen where.
I was about to say that, and I heard.
What a damn shame! Your prisoners spent all this time making food, and then they forgot to bring it back for you to eat. And you can see that the food was disgusting when it was made, and it's now just like molded over and totally rotten.
Double molded.
Throw this food away and clean this mess up. The other group is escorted out to where the Quaggoths are actually working the lift. We have several drow parties that are going to be leaving today. Slavers, food collectors. You'll help raise and lower the lifts for the drow. And don't think that if you try to screw around, we'll have no hesitation in throwing you off this cavern ledge. And if you step 1 foot onto this lift, we'll cut the cords and just watch you fall. Do you understand?
Sorry, who's in this group?
This would be
Yeah.
Peskin,
everybody else.
Elwin, Deck,
everybody else that is not there. Yeah. So
and the clock.
there is
Yeah.
Eliwick, Erevan, Jimjar is with you, and then there is another prisoner who you have not interacted with too much, but perhaps over the last few days met him. A prisoner named Bupita. He's any conversations you've had with him, he's been very polite and happy to engage in conversation, but not imposing in the same way that Jimjar has been.
Is Seraph and Goomba with him as well?
They were left in the pen this night.
They were left in the pen,
Yeah.
and so
So it's
all of us have been taken, but only Heskin.
there's
so-
groups of 4. So it's Heskin,
Right.
Deck, and I.
Group 1.
And do we have Shushar with us?
No.
Because you
Shushar
said-
is still in the pen.
We
You
have
said there
Prince
was 4.
Darren-
We have
No.
Prince
Stool.
Darendil.
So
Prince
Shushar,
Darendil,
Stool
okay. Oh my God.
are still in the pen, and there are 2 other deep gnomes that have kept to themselves over the
So-
last 2 days.
We're in
Not
the
interacting
kitchen,
with me.
right? We're in the kitchen, right? Elwin and
Deck.
Heskin and Deck,
Yeah, you guys are assigned to clean up the rotted food.
and she threatened the other group.
That was a separate.
What do you mean?
Sorry, she didn't take us.
Ilvara took, you and the others to the kitchen where she was saying,
Right.
clean shit up.
And then she threatened us to say if you.
No. That was the lift operators.
Okay.
That would have been just one of the drow that was nearby explaining that we have different drow parties that are going to be coming and going from the outpost today, collecting food, going on slave raids, whatever, it doesn't matter. And your job is to assist the Quagos in raising and lowering this lift as these parties come and go. And that if they try to do something funny, then we're just going to murder you.
No, it's to them. The lift. Okay.
Yeah, the lift operators. You're aware that they're outside. I mean, you guys aren't that far away from each other. They're basically outside of the kitchen,
Right.
operating the lift, but it wasn't spoken to you.
Right. So we're supposed to prepare food.
You guys are cleaning the food that was prepared before that is now rotted over to the point of being. I mean, you could eat it if you want, but she told you to clean it.
Clean it.
Yeah, just throw it away. Get rid of
Right.
this
Oh,
old
right.
food that's been set out. Yeah.
Oh. I would start doing that. And I suppose that you would still have your flask.
Yes.
I mean, you half of it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know what we do with it, but we've got it.
And
Yeah,
at this point, Julius, you
We can't.
so for the people operating the lift, you guys begin to lower the first party of it's just 2 drow that end up descending. So as you're entering into this cavern, you see this lift slowly
just
being
the ceiling.
slowly coming down.
Close.
Yeah, I am close. I'm gonna snuff my torch real quick.
Yeah,
So I
you just
can,
actually roll a stealth check.
Yeah, I can do it. Pop off.
6.
Okay.
You pop off.
It's something's gonna pop here.
You're popping.
Quick question. I figured Julius would know this. Is like magic just a no in the entirety of Underdark, or is it just in that cavern, or is it like?
Yeah. So probably just roll a intelligence check or an arcana check.
9.
With advantage.
19.
Okay. So especially because you were just at the Mages College and they sort of assigned you to come down here, you are aware that large portions of the Underdark are magic is very difficult to perform, and in particular, this is done intentionally in some cases by the drow who build their civilizations near areas where magic becomes more difficult to cast, such that it becomes difficult to scry on the drow and to look into their civilizations, trying to keep away from people that might try to intrude. and you would be aware of what is the name? Let me check my book. Feyer's Rest.
Oh, Feyer's Rest.
Yeah. This is, I think we just talked about it very briefly, but there's this sort of unusual magic energy that sort of pervades the Underdark, and this is something that the Mages College had informed you that something seems to be disturbing what it's usually there, but there's something uniquely different about it, which they're unsure about. But areas of this Feyer's Rest cause strange things to happen. You might cast something and something else will happen. So it's this sort of chaotic bit of energy that gets entered into the equation when you go to perform magic.
That sounds unpleasant. Does it affect all magical items? Like, are potions still potent, or
it affects
still...
like spell casting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So these two have like descended or are descending.
Yeah, and as they're descending, it's difficult to hear because they're still pretty far away and still pretty high up, but you can sort of hear a hey, over there, and you see one of them sort of point to your direction, and as they're coming down, they just begin to yell up like, somebody needs to go check this out over here.
Is there a viable place that I passed on my way here that I'd be able to like duck into an alcove or something?
Roll another stealth check.
Arcana check?
Huh? Stealth.
Stealth, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you did spell check and I was like...
You
blow!
dear.
Natural one.
You've sort of wandered into this area and you're just like...
I'm frozen in fear.
Yeah, you're sort of just in the midst. Yeah. So these as these drow progressively get closer to
lowered, right?
What's that?
They're getting lowered.
Yeah, they're being lowered by some of the party. The rest of you that are up here operating this lift and even in the kitchen, you see the drow begin to like sound an alarm. Some kind of bell begins to ring and shackle up these prisoners. You guys over there, keep working the lifts. Not you prisoners, you're getting shackled. Come on, move, keep moving.
Can I attempt to cast Shatter so I can like blow up their platform that they're descending on?
Yeah.
Go big or go home.
Hopefully it doesn't like.
I know.
It's
Aren't
blow
some of...
shatter me, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to get shattered, but
Well, they're also on the lift.
or are you on the list?
No, we're control.
They're
No.
up.
Yeah,
They're
I thought they were
on top.
control. Yeah,
Ah.
it's just too drow.
And they were shuffling us away anyway because you
No,
sounded.
we're still operating everything.
Yeah,
We
you're
got
still operating it.
shackled.
We're.
I don't know.
I think
All the other
he was
prisoners
talking
aside
to
from us
us,
were-
the cooks.
I don't think I want to shatter it because like they're still on it, and I need that lift to get up there. Fuck.
Oh, you can fly.
Well, I can misty step. I can't fly.
Well,
I can't fly.
Peter,
Oh.
Peter.
I was about to say.
I
Was that an option?
I have
You
like
can fly. You can fly. You can fly.
I have
Do you not? You have.
If you
like,
believe-
pixie dust.
I know. I have 30-foot teleport, but
Yeah, you guys used that in the well.
Yeah,
If you believe, you can fly. The song said so.
exactly. And you have
Space
pixie
Jam.
dust.
I don't have pixie dust.
I'm sure you do.
I don't
in your
have-
snacks
like,
with
I'm
all
sure,
your ingredients. I'm sure you
I
do.
can't just fly though.
Yeah, pixie dust. I guess you just don't have the faith
I
and
feel-
trust.
I mean, like I
Pixie
actually
dust.
do have like alchemical notes from like when we like raided that guy's thing. I mean, if I wanted to like go and like figure this out, I could. But like there's drow being lowered, and I can't like go make a potion that to make me fly real fast.
Shatter them all. Crack their skulls.
Crack the sky.
Crack the sky, Charles.
Yeah, bring the whole Underdark down.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let's burn this mother down.
So are you casting this?
Trying to shatter. I mean, like I guess that's. I mean, I'm obviously not hiding.
Okay.
But then with
So go ahead and roll for
Do you know
attack,
where
guys,
we're at?
or does it?
it's
just,
actually it's a
It doesn't shatter.
skill check.
it just hits.
Yeah,
Okay.
it just goes. It's
Yeah,
it's
sure.
a saving throw for half damage versus my spell's DC. Which
What
is
is the
14.
range?
Range should be.
But
I
what
think
would
it's.
grapple, huh?
I think it's 60 or 120. Let me.
Maybe there's a
can I see
mechanism.
that?
I maybe
There
at the
it is.
top.
Yeah, absolutely. What'd you say?
Okay.
I mean, maybe just I don't know. It depends on how long the rope is. And how
It's
far
pretty
it
long
is.
though. It's a long range attack.
Well, yeah, and if it can grapple onto something.
Yeah, if there's something near there that we could set up, or even if we all just
This
held
pea
it.
nonsense.
Oh, he walked out.
It would hurt.
If that got depends on how it is. I
60
guess.
foot range.
Yeah, like while he's climbing, we have to. That'd be weird.
I don't know. I don't think it'll get to that. But.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
so
Oh, you got water too?
Do you need some? I'll fill up while I'm over here.
No.
so roll damage.
Damn it. Okay, that's 3. What's their save, by the way? It's a dex save.
Are you aiming
Sure.
for them or the platform?
Well, it's a radius effect. It's a 10
What was
foot radius sphere centered on wherever I want, which is like impacting the end of the platform. I want to like
Hit the platform.
Shatter
Okay.
can like break inanimate objects, and I want to try and like hit them and break the platform that they're on.
Okay.
It's just like an explosion.
Right?
I'll go ahead and
Right?
So 17.
17 beats it. They take, or sorry, it's Constitution. So that, if that changes it, 38.
So it'd be 15 speed.
Okay, yeah, they still pass. So they take half of this, but the
That was
Do they get
so
knocked?
close to the end. Oh, that was an 8.
platform
Yeah.
takes this
Right, that
full
was
damage though. So they take 1, 2, 10. They take 5 damage, and the platform takes 10.
Okay. So you watch as this explosion hits. There's several chords, and you manage to actually take out a couple of them as this platform tips onto its side and basically just spills these guys down onto the ground. Let's see.
It's raining.
And if you'd like the text on the thing, I'll get it there.
What are you going on rock there?
You watch as they just hit the ground.
Oh, that's
They still seem to be okay, but they fell probably 50, 60 feet or so off of this thing.
Oh,
Oh, that's quite the feat.
that'll
there.
knock the wind out of you right there.
Yeah, it'll hurt, and they're struggling to get up. But as you pass this, you feel your stomach just tighten up, and you just immediately begin to just puke all over the middle of this cavern, like gut wrenching, like brings you to your knees, feeling just
Like freshman year
Awful.
of Mage's
Great.
college.
yeah. Mage's
You don't remind me.
All that wine though.
All that tiny
And-
lines.
Julius is just doubled over like, breathe.
Yeah.
Oh,
And this time,
jeez.
as you're on the ground, you kind of look up and you can see several more drow are just grabbing onto like cords of this spider silk and just dropping down from the ceiling, and several of the spiders as well are just like,
Oh shit.
I guess I'm leaving.
Bye. Bye, Felicia.
What's my spell list? I mean, like, obviously I don't really want to go around willy-nilly casting anymore, because holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna have PTSD.
That would be like
I
And
guess
an empty stomach.
Julius is going to sprint.
you're just gonna start running.
Yeah, go back down the passage that he came from and try and find a suitable place to like hide away.
Okay, roll a Constitution check.
To fight the vomiting.
Yeah.
Okay. That's gonna be an 18.
Okay.
No way.
I just rolled a 17.
Right?
That was good.
That was pretty good, right?
That was pretty good.
Alright, okay.
Pretty
Yeah.
good, to be honest.
Okay, so you managed to just start as you're running. You're just like,
I'm like, that's miserable.
yeah, you're leaving a little bit of trail behind you, and the drow just immediately start booking it. But especially the ones on the ground, and with the time it takes some of the ones who have dropped, you managed to get a decent
I had to fill mine up in the plastic.
head start on them. Roll another Constitution check.
Okay.
Actually,
Constitution. Well, it didn't matter, but
yeah, just roll another Constitution.
6.
Okay.
Smooth.
As you begin running, I mean the terrain you're running through is a little bit complex. I mean you're just there's like things sticking out of the ground, different stalagmites and rocks and other things. There's like glowing mushrooms that kind of give you some visibility as you go.
Try talking to them.
And you can hear the drow starting to catch up to you a little bit. In front of you there is a continuation of this path, as well as like maybe here and there like rocks and stuff if you wanted to duck into shadows or something like that.
Do I have anything that can assist me with hiding? Should I slather myself with mayonnaise? I guess that would
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I forgot. You had that entire vat of just like
That's not.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's not like a vat of mayonnaise. It's a vat of like nondescript,
honey?
like Schrodinger's cat-esque fluid that just, like,
Yeah.
doesn't exist until I want it to.
he had like
It's a gallon.
it's like a
A
gallon.
multiple gallon.
It's multiple gallon
of-
jug.
that could produce like a
Anything.
set list of liquids.
And so he was like,
But
I'm
I
just
can-
gonna have a bunch of honey today, and he would like pour honey on everything. We're like, Julius, why?
I can produce like a certain amount of like liquid a day of like certain liquids, and one of the possible liquids is mayonnaise. And I can produce 2 gallons of mayonnaise a day.
So,
Oh, wow.
but he was very adamant about making sure that he could produce mayonnaise. So that was
There was that.
there was that.
Instantly cut myself.
it's
And get naked, and they'll be like, "Well, this guy's weird. Let's get out of here."
And even for us, like that's too much.
Is Julian still like retching, or is he
Mayonnaise is an instrument.
recovered mostly? I mean, obviously, it's like there's some aftermath to deal with, but is he still like what, or is he?
You pretty much expelled whatever there was inside of you, so you're still like dry heaving.
Okay, I'm gonna, as I'm sprinting through, I'm gonna find the nicest, largest rock as far away from the path as I can and duck behind it.
Okay, roll stealth.
11.
Okay. As you're sort of tucked away here, you watch as several drow just kind of go running past, and then shortly behind them you see like the two that sort of fell off that lift, like trying to keep up.
Even in his like sickened and slightly scared state, Julius is like,
roll a perception check.
I thought he was gonna make you roll. 'cause you
18.
smirk.
roll my smirk. Well,
natural.
Roll to see if you laugh so they hear you.
So
roll for sadism.
as you're kind of watching them and chuckling to yourself, you notice this slight shadow sort of
Oh,
creep over the top of you as you look up, and you just see this like
God.
large, many-eyed
Arachnid.
spider that's just sort of
No.
sitting on top of you as several more drow begin to approach you and call back to the others. He's over here!
Fuck.
That's a nasty boy. That's a nasty boy right there.
What?
Sorry. It's a song I learned in Bard school.
Should I just be like captured? I don't want to like die by trying to fight these
There are
guys.
currently 2 drow that were accompanying the spider that found you. There's only 1 spider, and then there are the 4 drow that ran past you that are now turning back and coming to the
I mean, like, that's a lot of people. Let's be real.
Ah, Julius, don't worry. You're from the
So-
Mages College.
So is it like a
You got a
two-handed
vat of
cavern?
mayonnaise.
Like entryway, cavern, rocks.
Yeah,
bee
in
spider,
the
drow.
distance that you've ran so far, it's a single passageway, but it's a very complex area in general. But where you're at, it's pretty straight.
Okay. Could I use I could use like Misty Step to like juke him out, but then I might vomit again.
Get away from the spider,
I don't
Charles.
know.
who knows what other effects? Like that
Julius.
might have been just the shatter. Who knows?
That's possible.
Yeah.
That's
Like something else could happen. The Underdark.
The Underdog. I'm sorry.
I don't know if I'm in like a state to evade like a search party of 6 people and like random like Underdark monsters.
Arduous, lengthy beginning to this campaign.
Yes.
It's a hard knock life for us.
Oh my gosh, like the musical Annie, right?
Thank you.
Right?
You're so dumb.
So what do you want to do?
I like how you switched that though. Yeah. Michael Jackson.
I'm going to try and evade the spider, but just like get out in the path and then just like put my head down and then
Yeah.
just like arrest me.
As you begin to move, they just like plug. I mean, you're right in front of them, but they just plug you with these crossbow bolts, anyways.
Oh,
And
ow!
Within
Motherfucker! I'm gonna cast shield. Fuck you guys.
you have a second to try, and then you just pass out.
Wow.
Balls sack.
And I think that's where we're gonna end our first episode.
Still not sure if Julius is dead or not. Let's find out next.
Julius, you're gonna be dead.
Soon. That's for sure.
That was pretty good, guys.
That was really good.
Sorry that it was so long for you to get in there, but
It's no.
I wanted to.
I totally get it.
You know,
I signed
like-
up for that.
Yeah, like we talked about.
We're going right into the danger
Danger
zone.
Because I wasn't sure if like I have like a lot of spells at my disposal. Like I could like have tried to like sleep the spider or like teleport. Like,
Julius,
I feel like this is like the
Save
episode that
every
people
one of
are
us.
like this is like watching a TV show and like the people watch like the first 2 or 3 episodes are like, oh my god, it was just so boring and end, and then like the avid fans are like, no, keep watching.
yes, no.
Keep watching. Get past those first 3. You need them, and then it gets fucking crazy
Well,
after
that's how
that.
I feel like every campaign starts. Because when we first started, the first one
Yeah.
was slow. We were
It's
all
the
learning,
establishment.
and then once we got to like the second or third day, we were like, oh my god,
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
god.
I was reading. People were talking about the first couple episodes of Critical Role. 'Cause the first one was a lot of like
The first one was hard to
introducing new
watch.
characters. I actually loved it because
I-
I wanted to see the new characters.
I loved it. I said I want to say
Thank
it was
you.
hard to watch. It was slower, but I laughed my ass off watching it, so I enjoyed it. I sat through it and I watched 4 episodes in one night. I went to work at
Oh,
6.
I mean the new season.
Oh,
I don't really remember the first season.
It was the
First
first.
episode.
Oh,
I mean, I do
s-
remember them, and
I
I
still
enjoyed it,
haven't watched it because I know I'm gonna binge them, so I'm waiting for there to be a like 5 episodes out, and then I can just watch them all at
The
once.
second episode is really
Can you get into that?
slow. It's like
I
murder
just
mystery,
found it.
and
Yeah, okay.
Get some sustenance.
Huh.
the
That's really
players
before
Before I
it's
join
just
you
follow
guys
a bunch
on your,
of
like,
dead ends,
mushroom
and Matt Mercer
ayahuasca
lets
trip
them.
to the
So
south.
it's a little bit slow, but everybody was like, "This is just people getting their bearings and getting into the swing of things." So.
Oh my god.
I want to
was-
sign out real quick
I
so I
don't,
can just
actually.
throw
It's really annoying.
the stream on. So,
It's one case that
for everybody that came out, thanks so much. For
Thank
everybody that
you.
typed in the chat, it was super
to,
nice. I think if we can get some moderators at some point, I'll throw the chat up
Like, by
onto
using
the
your
stream
life
so that we
spell.
can also see that in
Because I
our
know in the
when we go to
like,
watch our old videos and
one
everything.
of, like,
Otherwise,
Zeus's
thank you guys so much
abilities
for
is,
coming
like,
out.
actually being
Next
And we hope you
Saturday.
enjoyed, and we'll be here next Saturday at the same time, roughly, playing the same game and seeing what happens next.
Same bedtime, same bed
The-
channel.
Slate pens of Velkynvelve as our players make their way out of the abyss. Bye.
Bye. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.